paper, tools, glass, steel, artillery, small arms, ammunition, wine, luxury clothes, porcelain, and fine art.
Welcome
You
back.
didn't just combine two
to everyone.
countries.
Oh, I overlooked some. There's also meat, sofa, iron, lead, and fertilizer.
You know, it's kind of amazing how all of you ignore the fact that I just did the stream in you.
How about you stop doing that?
No, it splits them in two and makes it easier to export.
I mean the whole muting us and stuff.
I just want to make it look professional. You ignore it. You trample all over my effort.
Ooh, I'm the leading producer of Clippers.
You should be America.
Clipper.
Well, yeah.
I'm just number 3 at Clippers.
I'm America. I like my boats.
Yeah.
Don't touch them. You can buy them, then they'll be your boats. But don't touch my boats.
Do not touch your boaty.
I'm also number 2 of oil, even though we don't have a
whales.
oil rig yet. Yes. Have to get it somehow.
Okay,
Take a hit of the oil.
So are we still muted on the stream, or are we back?
No, we are
on
back
audio?
online. You just like that's the thing.
You kept yapping. Yeah, we still had some game stuff we were yapping about, but yeah, I get, but yeah, it's yeah.
We just have.
Like
You know what? I just realized one thing.
Mm-hmm.
We should just go into the Rock and Dreamer parlor. Yes.
You do that.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Update, I would say. It's a lot of fun. I just need to adjust a bit, and then hopefully, my industry is recovering, and yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at my tech and some of my other stuff that I've got lining up, and I'm kind of close to when I start to boom, and when I start to run away with things. It depends on how well I can do with my internal economy, because that really, because what my plan is a lot of trade.
I mean, I'm probably revealing my hand here, but I'm already subsidizing lots of trade to the maximum, so I'm kind of indirectly attacking everyone.
Yeah, I noticed.
The subsidizing of trade tends to get inefficient at certain points.
You say that, but I need more people to buy my stuff.
Yes. The more efficient way to do that is to get a bunch of trade treaties.
Yeah.
Trade treaties gives me priority, but I want to when I undercut everyone, it doesn't matter.
It's not just priority. It also is like a scale modifier as well. So like if you have trade treaties with people, you're going to be trading a portion more.
Trade privileges, a type of treaty article granted by the market owner to another. It affects every country in the receiver's market, increasing their trade advantage relative to how much of the trade is conducted with the giver's market.
Yeah.
So only trade advantage.
Yeah.
And leverage.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and trade advantage should only be that you get it you first. So in the end, it doesn't matter much to me as long as I'm the cheapest. I think.
My plan is what I usually end up like. Hello, dog.
Yeah.
I have early plans and. I have early plans, and then as we get later and later, I just sort of start to fall into the complacent, like just sitting there and like tending my construction queue and just vibing and not really doing much of anything. I'm more active earlier on in the stream.
Yeah.
As I get tired, I get more passive.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Fair.
I am preparing to kick the Southern Netherlands teeth in. So.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, you can technically try to produce more rural goods.
Yeah. Yeah, like I am trying to expand my economy. I'm trying to expand my military. I'm doing various things, but yeah, I'm starting to get into financial dire straits again.
And we're talking about specializing. Because that's one thing nobody is doing right now. And at least in the world market, there is not much shortage, but yeah.
I'm trying. I think I'm trying to get another company started. I think the furniture company is the one I'm looking at next. So I've got that queued up. I'm like I said, I'm trying to work on a military build up. Yeah, I have a couple of things I'm doing, but yeah, I just get quiet and build. I am
I've
happy.
returned with my ginger beer.
Ooh,
My
nice.
homemade ginger beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have the first taste test.
Ooh. Now the question
Also,
is.
sorry for the noise. If you hear it, Ginger is barking at the neighbor kids who are playing in the street.
Yeah, she wants to warn them. Cars could get them.
She doesn't like kids.
Beyond
Understandable.
based. Good dog. Trained her well. No. Like, don't take this seriously. Like, please.
Ginger beer tastes good. I feel like it's lacking. This one I didn't put any lemon in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the lemon would be good. And
Lemon is usually pretty good.
possibly I probably could have put some more brown sugar in. But yeah, otherwise it still tastes good. And it's probiotic.
Oh, that means so little, actually.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yes. Oh, God.
It's like wondering what I'm doing next. Because I couldn't get Schleswig-Holstein up to 50 for them to join.
Just conquer them.
Yeah, I will. I'm basically I will when we get back into the game. Probably just fuck them up.
Fuck him up.
But I need to.
Maybe you could go after Russia or the Ottomans.
I'm thinking of Persia actually.
My plan, I think, once I get Belgium, I think I want to go back to African adventurism. I want to grab Portugal's African holdings, maybe be like bully Portugal more than that.
Nina, just so you know, if you finish taking the eastern holdings in Africa, there's the company de Mozambique, which gives you a whole bunch of colonialism, like a whole bunch of colonizing stuff. So
Yeah.
You get like extra free daily progress plus a percentage modifier in your colonizing speed.
Plus,
It's a really good company.
For colonizing, I have colonial offices free.
I saw that. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of people in your power blocks. So.
I had. Yes, I had the whole small German states in there.
I know.
All the little Germanys. Yeah, but like I think once I get that, I might go and like try and colonize more of southern Africa. Maybe take Zulu and try and like make the whole like connect, basically do the whole pink map thing, but orange map. So like connecting both the coasts and.
Do you really want to do that?
Maybe. I mean, like the thing is, I didn't really know what else I would want to do, and that is something that is reasonable, is somewhat in character, and it's
Contested by France and Britain. We carved up already.
Yeah,
No,
not by Paulo. No,
technically.
no, Southern Africa. You were talking about like North Africa.
No,
West
we
Africa,
were
like,
talked about
Southern.
Africa.
No. Ruben said also
No.
South Africa as Lena's, but more importantly, that's a treaty between France and Britain. It doesn't concern us.
Yeah, fine. But we, France and Britain can still bully, gang up on all of you.
I mean, right now.
You're not interested in that. Just leave him alone.
I mean, right now. Let's see. Do I?
So, yeah, like I said, this isn't something I'm going to do immediately. It's something I'm considering because, like otherwise, I don't know what else I'd be doing in the longer term. Like maybe negotiate with Ruben for Cape Colony, get that back. But
technically,
yeah, I'm
he
not
told
sure,
you can get it, just not immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I want like I want. I also want to look at my puppets. Like once I get Belgium back, I can beat up on Luxembourg maybe. The Dutch East Indies, I'm not sure what I want to do with them. I think it's more beneficial to leave them as a dominion right now, but they are at 0 liberty desire. I kind of want to feed them the rest of Indonesia. So
They should be going after Indonesia. They should be consolidating some of Indonesia on their own. So.
Yeah, but
they're doing a little bit, but not as much as they could. Like the Sudan thing.
They don't
Sudan war,
do good when they. Yeah, they don't do good when they have to naval invade. So if I don't know if you can.
you can just conquer it for them.
Like,
you have zero
I'm
infamy
thinking.
anyway.
Yeah, is what I'm thinking. Like the other thing, like I do want to get those little French holdings on Sumatra and feed them to the Dutch East Indies. So that's something we can figure out next time.
Port. There's a. Oh yeah, the ones on Sumatra.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Sunda Islands, which is
that too.
Portugal.
I want to get that too.
Yeah.
Like when I get Portuguese Africa, I also want to get like that's when I was doing the first war. I added all of those as war goals. And then I was working on getting war reps as well, but then just before I clicked add that, they just gave in because they had no backing, and my military it was like 10 times their size.
Rip.
So yeah, like I want to get that, and after Indonesia, we'll see. Like I think I might want to I want to see about trying to get Lanfang. Because that's also on Borneo, so that's also should go to the Dutch East Indies. But for that, I need to go after the Qing, which should be doable, but not something I want to try.
The problem
really
is
soon.
that with the way that naval invasions work now, Great Qing should have enough. They should just barely have enough time to move an army. Actually, yeah, given the amount of time it takes to get off of the island in Indonesia, they should have enough time to line up and defend the naval invasion, unlike before, where you had to garrison the thing. Now it creates a front line.
Yeah, no, I think like if I don't know if I would have to naval invade their homelands probably, but Lanfang itself, I just have a land border there. The Dutch East Indies do, but they don't automatically join my place. I need to figure out
That's what I was saying. Is like if you're not gonna have the Dutch East Indies in the war, then you have to naval invade Lanfang. But if you do that, they are going to have enough time to send an army to defend the naval invasion, which means that you're going to need to be ready to. You're probably going to need to improve your kill rate and hope that they don't that you time it right with being before they upgrade their military fully.
That's actually a good question. When do we want to fuck up the Qing?
I'm kind of doing that economically. I've got 2 roads into them, and I'm trying to. I know there's a way that I can go about things to peacefully steal a treaty port in Korea, which still functionally is a treaty port into China. That said, I mean, I'm not against doing the fighting thing or doing the what do you call it? Yeah, I'm not against it. It's just right now I'm decent trade partner with China is all.
We can figure. We could make it like a big coalition war, and all of us gang up on the chain for different war goals. We could figure something out.
Probably the only thing that would get me in there is a treaty port.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, we could do that, and we could see who else wants what. Like, I think Ruben already has a treaty port, doesn't he? He has Hong Kong now. Right?
Yes, he has Hong Kong now. He also has the treaty port in
Japan,
Kyoto, or wherever.
Yeah. So we can figure out what. Also, the like, definitely when I don't know if they're ever going to do like a Japanese flavor thing, but there should be a Dutch treaty port in Japan. Like that was the whole thing.
It's a weird thing that I actually asked that on the stream and didn't get an answer. But like, there was a treaty in the 1850s, and like what, like introduced treaties. Why isn't that triggering automatically to a degree? Like that is a option to just propose
even right from the start.
Logic was that the city isn't the Dutch's city. It still belonged to Japan, but they just had they were just allowed to trade in there.
Yeah, but like
which is a slight difference from say what was with
Hong Kong,
Macau in Hong Kong, where it was actual land that was given and just used as a trading hub.
I could see that, but then still, like the whole point of Dishman, like it was fairly low volume trade, but it was international trade, and that was like
you could maybe say that it's a you could maybe say that minimum it's a trade agreement.
Yeah, that's the thing, the minimum. Because
I think like if they do a Japan flavor pack or something, they might like. Probably the best thing would be if they added like a unique mechanic or a new mechanic to represent that, like trade access.
They could literally just do another Canton system.
That is literally the one thing I'm surprised that's not in, because like even then, as I said, it could be just a trade agreement, because again they had that. And right now, Japan is isolationist, and the point of the treaty system is that you can actually work around isolationism by having specific trade deals with specific countries. And again, this was the historic one Japan had during the time, but also, and this is a thing when people are like, oh, but should it should maybe not be a treaty port? Bullshit. Because the game already abstracts a lot of stuff, like, for example, there's not silver or emerald or any other mines, it's just gold mines. You can give them a treaty port until you have a better system. Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Also, tinfoil hat on.
Mm-hmm.
Tinfoil hat on.
Yes.
The Canton system law is pandering to the Chinese market. Because they gave a unique law for the Indians, and so I can see some of the Chinese players getting uppity, thinking, "Why don't we have special stuff? That's not correct. We traded."
Not really. They said.
I know it's not really.
It's definitely in the dev diary. It was like, they want to have more unique, variant laws per country, and this is good because this makes more sense.
Yeah.
But also it is weird that they just have one right now. It's an obvious one, and an obvious one that fits really, really well with the expansion. But once again, why isn't there one for Japan? Why isn't there... Like, the thing is, it's just, like, I don't think they pandered. It's just, I think this was probably more we want to do stuff, and they just came up with literally just one. That's more the thing. I don't know. I don't think that will boost Wiki sales in China. It's you know what? If that was legit the case, I would pull out the I'm gonna be real with you, Martin Anwood. This ain't gonna increase the Chinese player base.
what would be even funnier is if it actually does increase the Chinese player base.
I mean, honestly, the Chinese player base
Even if by margin.
can be actually gained relatively easy. You just have to include them to a degree, and so, like, I mean, there's a reason why how's it called, Battlefield 4, had the Chinese. Even though, was it really well? No. Is this game still insanely popular in China and being memed over? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm also thinking that, like they added the unique caste system to Japan, but I saw some speculation before it came out that like this could also be a good thing to add to other countries
India?
as well. To India.
Yeah.
Like it could be interesting because there's a lot of society, like even just in Britain, it was a very class-based society. So if
that's what I was. I actually
like,
posted this in the forums.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
hey, is this going to be a system that can be active for other countries? Because there's a lot of countries where there would at least be a part of this making a lot of sense.
Yeah, very class, but not in the same set. Like maybe tailored to like a more like either Britain or like maybe a more generic version, and then India gets a version that's specifically tailored to India. But some form of caste system.
Like a whole.
Yeah.
This is a whole new law. This is a whole new law type. It's not even a unique law like the Canton system is a unique trade law. This is an entirely new type of law category of law, and you can literally just have it be that the vast majority of countries have it abolished at game start. And somehow maybe you go
have
back
a week,
to it.
Yeah,
That would give so much more play interest.
I mean, let's just be really. I think the biggest problem with it is that there is a caste. As you said, in Europe there were in some cases definitely a caste system. But
maybe not necessarily caste, but class system. Yeah,
let's not beat around the bush. Apartheid was also that.
Yeah.
And I get why it's not introduced everywhere, because it would be something that is just downsides, basically.
But I also feel like, from a certain perspective, there should still be downsides.
No. That's not the point. I was more like, this is one of the systems where I would say I think it should be there because, like, here's the thing: America had segregation and in law, and that should be actually better represented than, with just the segregation law. Actually,
the racial segregation law being the way to represent that is a joke to me.
Yeah, it definitely is a joke. Like, I think that part, if they rework that and, put some more stuff in a caste system, yes, but this would need a lot more work, because getting that right will be hard. And
this is also why I thought that the Indian law type for the caste system would have been interesting, because you could make the set of laws unique to India, and then you could have generic versions of them. Were
hey Ryan, how are you doing?
That would like apply to other countries.
Like have a class system generic law, and then for India specifically a caste system, like with the same law category but different variants. Yeah,
that would definitely be that would be something that they do need, because the current system with acceptance and cultural exclusion, it's like that there's like that is there is a lot of stuff. Too warm here. Feels like I'm getting glassed on Reach. Yeah, Britain. You need to keep
the entire former Roman Empire.
I mean, Britain definitely needs to realize that you're actually much further south than a lot of other countries. We're still further south than Germany. And then again,
like all
it's a new normal, so.
Like all of Europe, the latitude that Europe is at, is actually pretty high, and the reason Europe has the whole temperate climate is because of the Gulf Stream. Yeah, because also like if you look at the rest of the world, like on North America or further into Asia, on the same latitude as Europe, you have much colder climates.
Yeah.
So
But,
it's already kind of an anomaly.
But even then, the average temperatures also just already rose over the last year. It's just a new normal. Welcome to climate change. And the fact that, you know what? At some point, we just need to sit here and be like, you know, every government should just pay up to upgrade to ACs because it's getting dangerous to a degree.
Honestly, if I were a what's it called? If I was trained in HVAC, I would seriously consider moving to Europe to start an HVAC business.
Yeah. Please do.
I mean, technically, we should, in the best sense, we should actually do heat pumps because they're both, but people are stupid. And I'm like, why should we all upgrade to heat pumps? Because basically everyone in the industry is like, we should do that because this is the thing going forward, and everyone else in Europe is doing it because it just makes more sense. But
I mean, there's an exception at certain temperature ranges, but that's not where most of Europe is.
Yeah, like that's the thing. First of all, people forget that heat pumps are insanely efficient compared to everything else. And second of all, this is not about heating. This is also about cooling. Like heat pumps can cool your house. It's literally just like the thing is, heat pumps are ACs that you can run in reverse. That's literally it. It sounds so stupid, but it's literally that. And the point is, if we would actually have some laws supporting that, they would get actually cheap, so people could install them. And even if it's just in one room, it would be a little bit more useful. And we would not sit there all the time and laugh about how's it called? And we would laugh about that one Vietnamese YouTuber that constantly makes jokes about how her boyfriend is like, why do you bought an AC? We don't need that. And she's like, shut the fuck up. I want to escape the heat. I mean, at least we can say we have still the better shutters. Like, that's useful. Like, if we isolate, like, at least German buildings on average isolate better from the heat. We could still do better though. Like, we should just install awnings everywhere. Like, holy shit. I mean that seriously. Awnings are so useful, and it's a crime we're not using them. It's like, oh, you know, because we don't have shutters here, for example. Holding a lighter to the sprinklers. Honestly, I totally get that. Yeah. But yeah, awnings would be so useful because, you know, they had, escaping the heat is very important. Some goof who's always trying to control inside tabs. Hey, Seraph again. But yeah, it's like, awnings are, it's such a shame that, like, the dumbest thing about it is that awnings got removed because people installed ACs and were like, oh, we don't need awnings anymore. That's old technology. Shut the fuck up.
What? No, they do different things.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing
Why
is...
do you guys not understand heating?
Oh,
wait, never mind.
People have an aesthetic problem.
No. Y'all should understand heating... Honestly, y'all should understand heating a lot better.
They are also getting removed in the USA, just saying.
Not everywhere.
I know, the old stuff still have them, but a lot of new buildings don't have awnings installed. And like, the thing is, they should install awnings because even if you have an AC, an awning would still reduce the amount of work it has to do.
And thus energy costs.
And energy, yeah. And we need reduced energy costs. Awnings are so fucking useful. It is criminal that they are not, like, mandatory. Even here, I wish we would just install awnings on the outside of the building here because it would legitimately help so much. It's, yeah. Because then the heat wouldn't hit that's the thing. What heats buildings is when light is allowed to just freely go into it through windows. And yes, I know a lot of modern windows have an extra foil over them that is, reducing how much heat can be transferred by light, but it still isn't enough. It would still be better if it just doesn't hit the window.
Yeah.
So put an awning there, so it shelters that, and then you can, put the awning in again when it's, for example, raining or snowing, and you don't need it, and you want actually the sunshine in the building. Just basic building design that has just been unlearned.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning at the very least. How little how much people seem to have forgotten.
Yeah.
I guess it's not something you necessarily think about.
Yeah, but
I
then
mean, if you're in the construction industry, you should be thinking about it.
oh,
True.
yeah, but also the thing is, we should just drop a giant ice cube in the ocean every year. Yeah.
Nuclear bombardment when?
What?
We need to go out and just grab like Kuiper Belt objects and just send them in send them into Earth as comets, just to cool the place down.
If we expand the
We'll need to terraform Earth.
the dikes and the caulks enough, we have enough water in the atmosphere that it's always raining. Thus, it keeps us cool.
Fair.
So
I mean-
Netherlands needs to speed up.
I mean,
Just
the
like
ironic
the
thing
whole
that might
the Eastern Sea between Sweden and Germany.
the Baltic Sea.
Yeah, okay, that's how it's called.
Yeah, it's called the Baltic Sea. So, by the way, there's an irony about it that, since it's heating now, one of the things that might hear is, all I heard was nuke the Danes. No, that was not what she said. The thing is, ironically, now that everything gets warmer, the Sahara is gonna go green maybe again. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the thing is, the Sahara was once green because the Earth's rotation was different. So the Atlantic heated up more, and created big clouds, which then rained over the Sahara and created gigantic lakes. And now, due to global warming, this threshold could be hit again, which is very fucking ironic that this could happen. But yeah, doesn't change the fact that we still have droughts in Europe, so we actually need more rain. But yeah, adapting to climate change is always just people are like, oh, but would anyone think of that's the thing. When always people talk about it shouldn't have an impact on the economy, it's not an impact on the economy. It's literally, hey, we should replace one thing with another thing, and the thing that should be replaced is fighting tooth and nail to keep existing, even though it's going to be useless, literally, and also it's killing the planet. Blessing the rain down in Africa. Shit, yes. Yeah, we should have more awnings and more ACs, but also, again, we should have less just gas-powered heating, because we do not need heating, we also need cooling nowadays. But the gas industry really doesn't want us to stop using gas, because it finances the war on Russia. God. Getting very political again, huh?
On the Hourglass stream?
Oh no, Nia stream is political.
We could
Nyalco
never.
has gone woke? Question mark, question mark, question mark?
I have also gone gay.
Damn.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
I do like the
Yep.
girls.
Yeah.
I do like them. I only have one girl, but I do like her a lot.
Nyalco stream has DEI in it.
It also has GAY in it. So So, question mark, do we want to stream something in the background still, or do we just want to keep yapping? Then again, I
What's
probably
the
need
Yap
to...
stream right now?
Yeah, it's a yap stream. With me probably making a sandwich in the background.
As soon-ish. Still a while.
Yes. Politic on Twitch, inconceivable. Yes. Da, 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 da. Yeah, as I've said before, if you watch this stream, I'm just gonna do this like twice now, because like, you know, if you watch the streams, you like the community and you want to keep being in contact, we have a Discord. It's invite only because we don't want to moderate it. So yeah, if you're interested, just shoot a message to Zep on Twitch, private one, and you can get an invite. Dun, 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 dun. So, honestly, to a degree, can I say that I'm starting to get just not into the mood of talking about the current politics? Like, you know, saying stuff like, we need more trains, that's easy, and I'm done with that, but, you know, current politics is just such a shit show. It's just...
Depressing.
Depressing is true. Like, the thing is...
It's not, even ignoring that part, it's also exhausting.
Yeah.
I've gone through this in the last couple years where essentially for the sake of like in the name of being I guess aware or woke, I guess, just like aware of like the things going on around me in the country, I had spent an unreasonable amount of time watching news, learning about things, and kind of like not being involved, but like being an active listener to what was going on. And I realized that I was destroying my mental health with it.
Yeah.
And so over the last year, I've essentially cut off a lot of like news watching and a lot of focus on politics from my life. And it's put me in a lot better of a place.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You kind of need to keep fighting, but like, this is why I do want to maybe keep these DCF streams a little bit less, quote unquote, less political. But just because, like, holy shit, I think to a degree, you know, if it's just one day per week where we don't get bombarded with shit, might be useful. Just going forward until maybe things improve, whenever that is. Like, I mean, just to point out, like, when my dad visited, you know, we talked about the current state of everything, and, you know, he actually said to me that he doesn't think, you know, the world is moving, you know, towards a pre-World War II situation. It's actually moving towards pre-World War I situation in terms of political setup. And you know what?
I agree with
considering that one of the most powerful nations could initiate a war at any moment now because someone tells the leader, you know, if you don't bomb this country, you're a cuck. It's not wrong.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering
Well,
how
like I keep saying, time has been flowing backwards.
it is. It's just, you know, it's just not Russia at this time. It's just the opposite. Cool.
The only country that I could feasibly see being actually, hold on. No, not even that country. No country in the world right now is in an equivalent position to where Germany was pre-World War II. So the reasons for war are very, very, very different.
It's like True. The thing is, you can have a semantics debate about, you know, is this nationalism or is this fascism right now? But it is definitely more in terms of the nationalistic setup. I would say that a lot of countries have, you know, their own allegiances, but, you know, create more power blocks. Like, this is, you know, for example, the USA wants to build their own power block, and in response, Europe is going. Scary how accurate that statement was. Yeah. Which one
I
do
mean,
you mean?
technically, we already had our power block, but that's not Trump's power block. So
Yeah, it's like
he wanted his personal power block.
it's more like Europe is currently splintering off. Like I know people are like is NATO going to fail? Maybe, but like
Probably not.
Also, secondly, NATO isn't the only treaty in alliance.
it isn't. Yeah, but like the thing is, it will be replaced with Europe, and Europe is already arming up again. Like that's the thing. Cool. We might have more bigger power blocks, but they are coming. India is arming up. China is arming up. We're just having the Europe situation just dispersed everywhere. That was
My
actually a good
opinion
catch from Ultimate for once. Yeah, fair point. But war over Cactum. It's just it was once the Tsar, now it's the president. Depressing? Yes.
Well, also another reason why another World War One example is like similarity wise, instead of Archduke Ferdinand being assassinated, what's his face in Iran might get assassinated.
Oh yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And Russia has, and I actually don't believe this is a bluff. Russia has made it very clear that regime change would be a line that would be crossed.
I mean, I get why, because they're relying on.
I mean, like to the level of assassinating.
Yeah.
If it's like elections, I think if it's like elections and something very peaceful, I think we could
still
probably
intervene.
get away with it.
But
They will still intervene, but I think we could get away with it without an escalated war.
the problem is just there is
which
currently one side that does want to escalate a lot because and I fucking hate to say it because it's like it's a distraction move. Like, can we just all agree on the fact that the whole image was in the fucking gutter because they're doing a genocide, so now they're just attacking another country. We're like, oh, we're just stopping the bad people. Now everyone is talking about that, and let's just forget about that. There's still the genocide going on. Like,
I have mixed feelings about the after Gaza stuff. So, like, once all of that is done, what happens?
It's just
on one hand, I want to say the U.S. should go in full force to help rebuild and repair things, but we have done that before so many times in the Middle East, and it's only gotten our hands bit.
I mean, yes and no. Like, you never did a full Marshall Plan for the Middle East. Like, that's also the thing. Like, that's the thing. The Middle East has turned into the Balkans. Like, pre-World War I Balkans. It's just a shit show.
It's a powder keg.
Yeah. And now we're getting dragged into this whole thing, and, like, it's so bad, and it should have been stopped decades ago, because right now, that's the thing. I don't even know if on a certain, just cultural and personal level, a lot of this stuff is salvageable. Some stuff, as we can say, if, for example, with Syria, is like, wow, Syria is probably how's it called again?
I have a feeling that by some miracle of luck and coincidence, there may actually be a salvageable part of this.
Maybe, but it's
sadly and annoyingly on Trump's side.
As of now, yeah.
Yes, as of right now, because it is going to depend a lot on what he says in this 2-week time period.
You know what?
Because he said for a long time his dreams. He's had a couple dreams. One, he wants to be a mob boss.
Yeah.
Like the image of that. He's kind of already done that, so he's moving on to his next thing. Every single opportunity to one-up Obama, because he despises Obama. And so that includes getting a Nobel Peace Prize. And he does genuinely seem apprehensive about things escalating in Iran, and so my guess is that he is leaning more towards a true peaceful solution.
I mean, the
problem is Netanyahu pushing him and the U.S. intelligence community towards saying no, we need to go in hard and loud.
That's the thing. The guy has been flip-flopping a lot of times because, like,
That is
the thing
the other
is,
thing.
his whole
Yeah.
thing is just, he's like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, because the thing is, he's just in this thing, as you said, for the image. And right now, he has not settled on one. And that's the dumbest thing about this. That's the dumbest part about this is that either we look at something where he just either needs someone to tell him, bomb because you're a cuck, or you're a cuck, or someone says, if you bomb now, you're a cuck, you should do peace, or, and this is like legitimately a really, that he just stalls the whole thing to bomb on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's-
We are in this level of stupid.
The thing with the flip flopping too is this is another reason why I say coincidentally. He does this genuinely. He flip flops because either his mood changes or the situation changes ever so slightly, and he changes his mind because he's fickle like that, which is not a good thing.
But a woman can't be president because they're too emotional, I guess.
When talking about the what was the thing called again? When comparing Trump's geopolitical stances to historical U.S. stances, it's a lot easier to fear what the U.S. is going to do, whereas in the past decades, even with like the Bushes and like other Republican presidents, it was pretty clear what their stance was and what would be a line to cross with them. With Trump, it's not at all clear to a lot of dictators what a line to cross with him is, especially because you saw him disparage Putin, who had been his best friend for a long time. You saw him. What was the other things? Basically, the point is that for a dictator, you're probably a little more fearful of, is this thing up? You're going to want to try to be a bit more thoughtful of, is this thing I'm about to do going to piss Trump off, or is he just not going to care, or is he going to support me? And you never really know, and this once again, this is not an intentional thing by Trump. This is just some neurotic behavior that he has.
Yeah. Also, Ryan, I agree, but also, like, the whole Middle East is just the Middle East is the end result of World War One, this is the stupid thing about it. The Ottoman Empire collapsed, and with it, there was I can guarantee you, there was this idea for a scramble for Arabia, because the Brits and the French just wanted to expand their colonial empire. That's why they literally carved the Middle East up. Like, they had a deal with the locals. The locals were like, oh, you're helping us, gain independence, make our own nations and all that. And then the Brits and the French were just like, that's why the lines are so stupid. And
I forget exactly what it was, but if I recall correctly, that situation is one of the few situations where the Soviet Union and the U.S. agreed hand in hand, saying, fuck off Europe, stop making a mess of things.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. They, but the problem here is...
If the U.S. and the Soviets are agreeing on something, it's gotta be the correct option.
I mean, that's fair.
This all happened in World War One in the 1920s, before the Soviet Union was doing anything other than trying to fight off the remnants of the Tsarists.
But the thing is that afterwards, after World War One, what happened? The British and the French, they wanted to expand their colonial empires, but basically they got dragged into. They realized that. They didn't want to realize that they were falling apart, because they just had insurrections, they had wars for independence. See, for example, Vietnam. Vietnam started before the Second World War. They just, briefly paused because they hated the Japanese more. And then resumed. Which is just the thing. But also, the thing is that I think if we can say the two steps that really fucked everything up was, first of all, the Brits and the French carving up the Middle East, completely sidelining their old allies. This is, by the way, why the Saudis got so big. We're just like, you fucking dumbasses. How did you let those goddamn monarchists get so big? You had more liberals on your side, and you let them down. Are you so utterly... But, they probably just felt like, oh yeah, we can just subjugate the Saudis later. And then, oops, constant colonial problems. Oops, a second war in Europe. Oops, that went bad. And then the next thing where it went bad was, again, as you said, the Americans and the Soviets were both like, stop this, stop your colonial bullshit. But the thing is, and this is the next big problem, then you both just couldn't stop bickering about capitalism or communism, because the bullshit thing is, cool, the Cold War stuff then still didn't help because Arabia wasn't rebuilt. Because it was still then again about who gains more people for their own side. I hate this. Like, it's a century of failure for the Middle East. And now we're sitting here and people are like, how did it get so bad? The answer is everyone. I mean everyone. Even China had to have dealings in Afghanistan and the Middle East during the Cold War. Let's just not forget that. All this shit came around because of a sandwich. What do you mean with that? So, by the way, sorry for my rant, and we should maybe go over to more fun topics soonish, because sorry. It's depressing. Archduke Ferdinand. Oh, yeah, Ferdinand for sandwich. Fucking gambler. They should stop gambling in general. Gambling is bad, especially when you gamble with nations.
I will say, with World War One, it was kind of inevitable. It's just a matter. It was more a matter of like where and when it would start.
I mean, that's
not to say that there isn't a timeline where it wouldn't happen. There probably is.
Yeah, the point of divergence would have been decades earlier.
Yeah, it's just so far that possibility is so far removed from reality that it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't happen.
It's like, I mean, aside from the fact that okay, you know what? Last rant, but this one is at least about history. Holy shit! Everything leading up to World War One is stupid. It's just bafflingly stupid because the ideas of monarchy failed, the ideas of realpolitik failed, and it basically only happened because a few guys had a dick measuring contest. It is so utterly stupid because here's the thing: why I say monarchy failed. See, the one thing why monarchy in Europe would have had one upside back then is literally they are all related.
Yeah, like
so you'd think
like a couple guys. It's not just a couple guys. It's cousins, like first and second cousins. They were all. There was a family photo. There's a family photo somewhere of Queen Victoria with her grandchildren.
Yeah,
it's all the monarchs of World War One.
It's literally
every single one of them.
It's the Tsar. It's the Kaiser.
Except the Ottomans.
Yeah, and the thing is, at that point you would be like, what? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you here because, and the Kaiser still did the most. Like, he literally wrote his cousin, the Tsar, don't do this. Just don't do this. I don't want to go to war. This is stupid. Just stand down. And also, let me just be clear here, the king, the British king, yeah, you could have also just done a little bit more talking to your cousins. Like, the one upside the monarchies had was, again, your cousins. You should have strong relations and maybe think that the countries ruled by your cousins shouldn't go to fucking war. But you know what?
See, this is where my stance is a little different. It's because they were siblings that everything got fucked.
Oh yeah, that's probably also the case. But that's the thing, you know. That's the next stupid part because you know Russia was like, oh no, we should help Serbia. And again, the Kaiser wrote because he didn't just think this would escalate this much. Wrote his cousin in a letter, please don't do this. Like, trust me, your cousin, we do not want a war. And then the Tsar literally went to war because someone was like, are you not man enough to go to war? And what the fuck? What the actual fucking fuck?
Hey, Nikki, it's your cousin.
And it's still, still started because Austria was like, we need to prove that we're still a big fucking empire again, and we need to prove how good we are. And then you have some Serb who shoots the one guy in the Austrian government that literally was sympathetic to their cause, like legitimately sympathetic. You shot the wrong guy. You like if.
Although.
Oh,
sorry. Finish your rant.
Like, again, if they killed any other monarch from the Austrians, Archduke Franz Ferdinand would have probably intervened on their behalf. He would have been on their side. But no, you had to kill the one guy on your side. You stupid fucking idiots. Why is it always the Serbians? Anyway, and then Austria really wanted to go to war, and then afterwards they got their war, dragging all of Europe into this godforsaken war. They died to hand grenades. You stupid fucking idiots. You can't even do the war right. Why is everyone incompetent?
So the thing, Franz Ferdinand was this most sympathetic to the Serbian cause, but when you look at it from a different perspective, the whole purpose of assassinating an Austrian royal was to ensure Serbian independence and to make sure that Austria would keep encroaching on Serbia and Serbia would remain independent. From that perspective, it worked wonderfully because Serbia remained independent. So they actually achieved their objective, just at the cost of the rest of Europe. And also, that's also something that happened more often. Like in Russia, the Tsar Alexander the second or third?
Second.
Second, yeah, was more of a liberal reformer. Like ended. I think he was the one who ended serfdom. He was very much like sort of. I don't know if he was like a latter-day enlightened monarch, but very much like trying to reform his country and trying to be good to his people and
it was one of those cases,
and then he was blown up by anarchists, and his successor was a brutal autocrat who cracked down on everything and just made everything so much worse.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Propaganda of the deed.
But hey, remember how Mexico, friends, we installed someone from our house and they rule Mexico, and they told him, hey, they really want you to be the ruler. And he's like, wow, this is my calling. I need to be the best one I can. It's like, listen, Mexico, I totally get you. The guy didn't know that you hated him.
He still did his best. Like I said, he was basically the best ruler Mexico ever had.
Okay, for everyone who doesn't know, there was this whole thing that France basically toppled the government of Mexico and installed a new monarch. I think a Wittelsbacher, was it? I think it was a Wittelsbacher, yeah.
Maximilian II.
Yeah, the Wittelsbacher were still like kind of.
I think it was someone's younger brother too.
Was he the Maximilian II because the first king was Maximilian I was the king of Bavaria, so yeah, could be. Basically, they installed him on the throne, and the thing is, they kind of faked the support that people wanted him on the throne. And the thing is, and this is the sad part about it.
It's Maximilian von Gutzen Iturbide. Actually, no, never mind. It's no, I'm seeing it wrong. No, that's a different one. It was his fucking. Who the fuck? Sorry, it doesn't really. Yeah.
It's Maximilian
Augustine the First.
It's a Habsburg. It's an Austrian archduke from the Habsburgs, Maximilian I of Mexico, and the thing is that that's the irony. Like, he was basically just installed as a puppet. Sounds like the French, hey, these guys totally love you, go live with them. Yeah, and that's the irony. The Mexicans were like, obviously, they want to subjugate us. But the irony was, that guy legitimately cared about the Mexican people. For him, this was like, it was his calling. He needs to modernize, he needs to educate, he needs to tear down the class system, he needs to just give everything because, they want him, so he's So like, if they want a monarch, god damn it, he's gonna be the best one.
Even if I recall correctly, he was also, like, of all of the possible options to lead the Mexicans, including the non-royal options, he was the most, like, sympathetic to allowing people to have their faith, which is the massive. It's like one of the most massive things in Mexican history is making sure that you don't infringe on their practice of faith. And that you also appease the secularists.
That's probably the weirdest part about it, because like he from being an Austrian archduke, obviously Mexicans hated him, but holy shit, did this guy actually want the best for the nation? Like actually to become Mexican. It's like it's absolutely insane how this happened. That it's sad in hindsight that it didn't work out, because it's like, and probably afterwards everyone was like, oh wait, shit.
It's shit like this that makes me start wondering if the people like spouting nonsense about lizard people running the world from behind the scenes and in the sewers, it makes me wonder, maybe they have a point.
I mean, it's a little
I know
bit
it's
different.
not actually true. I know it's different.
Like that's a sad part.
It makes me wonder. There's a lot of things I could point to in history where it's just like, is this a coincidence? Is it really?
It's probably not a coincidence. It's more incompetence. Like, let's just be real here. Like, that's the thing. Like,
incompetence and bad luck and unlucky maliciousness.
Yeah, just that sucks. Absolutely. And I generally just think like it. You know what? History is just depressing. How about we stop this? Actually,
there were some good monarchs, not many, but there were some. Like even in the 19th century, Pedro II of Brazil was also just genuinely a good fucking guy, and he was overthrown by a republic that was like corrupt and authoritarian and racist, and just so much worse than he was.
There's always an almost innumerable people in any given country vying for power. Yeah, like that's the thing. It is a thing. Monarchy is a bad system, but you can say that there were sometimes monarchs throughout history that genuinely believed in the responsibility of being a good ruler, like. The one in, for example, Korea, who literally invented the current writing system and language. Yeah, like, he was generally someone who tried to make the country better. And it's like, that's the sad part. That is usually the monarchs that die.
I mean, eventually all monarchs die, but yeah. I
But that die prematurely because someone else wants the power.
They get killed, yeah.
And it's really shitty. As long as and that's like keeping a country stable is hard. It's just hard. But also, I think it's always the thing of the underestimation of maliciousness that is going around, because the idea of if one thing has never died out, then it's groups doing everything to just have power. But yeah, have a good sleep, Ryan. See you around. Yeah. That maliciousness is always something where I'm like, having power for the sake of power. And it's never ended.
The hate that people have for their fellow man is just it just astounds me.
I mean, that is something that actually is, that is just something where you can say that is fostered, sadly. That is not natural. Like, like, the thing is that even with Maximilian I, that a lot of people, especially in the capital, realized, wait, the guy might be actually nice. The problem is just every other group that was shafted by the French, and they hated the French legitimately. The thing is, Maximilian I for Mexico was just in the end a figurehead for the French, even if he himself genuinely believed in his mission. The thing was, he could only fall because no group would have given up the power to rule themselves. So he had to be an enemy. Even if he would have been sympathetic to them. That just doesn't change that. Anyway, we should really stop with the depressing stuff.
We should generally slowly fade out, because in a few minutes I need something to eat.
And that's what I wanted to say, ask if you still want, if you're not feeling sleepy and want to still yap, I can just make a sandwich in the background.
Sure.
Anyone wants to hear some banging kitchen action in the background? Because
Brown sandwich, go!
woo! I'm making good sandwiches, I'm making the best sandwiches.
Then you can...
Everyone always tells you make the best sandwiches.
I think only one person can say that, but do I make good sandwiches?
In my opinion, yes.
Haha. Do I cook well?
I guess, relatively.
Nice. Kitchen ASMR, yes. But you know what? Then, you know what? Keep yapping. I make sandwich.
Yeah.
People want the sandwich.
And it's always a relative question. There are people who don't salt their pasta water.
Some people are wrong.
So, for example, relative to them, cooks very good. But but relative to like a 3-star Michelin holder person, she probably cooks not so good.
I would fuck up Gordon Ramsay
if given the means. The big question is, does she cook better than what's his face, Jesse, or whatever? Not Jesse. The other British chef, the embarrassing one.
Jamie Oliver, probably.
Jamie Oliver, that's his name.
Yeah, the chili jam guy.
Yeah. Chili jam is good, but it needs to go on the right shit.
Yeah.
The what?
I actually have I actually bought a bunch of not chili jam.
Oh, chili
but
jam.
It is kind of. I bought a bunch of jalapeno jam and habanero jam. It's very good. There's a small company in California that makes some, and it's so. Oh my god, it's so delicious. And so I'll like make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with it, and it is like so godly good. Probably my favorite thing to it's one of my favorite things to make. I don't think there's anything that could quite top what's it called? I don't think there's anything that could quite top making quesadillas for me. Just because, but that's more on the fact that the Mexicans invented the greatest food in the world than anything else.
Chicago deep dish pizza?
No, that would be the Pope.
Mexicans invented the Pope?
Yes. Okay, Seraph, burritos are great. In fact, I love burritos and always go for burritos. But the quesadilla is a simpler dish, thus it gets brownie points.
But it's a quesadilla, not a brownie.
Yes.
By the way, egg in a sandwich, yes, no.
What?
Egg. I can fry an egg both sides and put it in there.
Sure.
My stance on the quality of cuisine and dishes is the more complex that you get, and the more like of a difficulty it is to produce said meal, the more that you approach that realm, the less valuable that quality-wise, not quality, but like the less significant of a dish it is, because one of the key important things about cooking, I think, should be how easy or simple how easy and simple it is to make a dish. Because if like only your 5-star Michelin chef could make it,
This was a sure.
then it's a shit dish.
As an answer?
Yes, I agree to you. Yeah, stop talking. You're not here.
And so this is where my logic comes in.
I mean, it's
Quesadillas are a simpler dish, and you can like change them up a little bit. You can put some meat in there. You can go all cheese, or you could. I think really the cheese is the cheese and the tortilla are the only non-substitutable things in there. I guess you could maybe take some points away from it for lactose intolerant people, but
Cheese?
at
Nah.
this,
well,
yeah, I would say that that's kind of not a valuable enough point, because cheese is something that lactose intolerant people will choose to eat despite their weakness. So,
I mean,
yeah.
simplicity in preparation is definitely a metric you can do, but it's not.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not the metric.
Yeah,
but
otherwise,
it is a
French
bigger-
cooking would go like to the bottom.
I rate it as a higher value than most people, I'd say.
I mean, fair. Depends also on the setting. Like, if you have time to prepare for something big, French cuisine becomes appealing since you can do it in big batches.
Yeah.
Otherwise, something along the lines of Japanese cuisine is probably better, because that focuses more on like the natural flavor of ingredients.
Yeah. This is another thing where it's just kind of like, I do appreciate all types of cuisines, just because every cuisine is doing something different, for the most part. Or they're doing something similar in a different way. Which is how you end up with things like fusion cuisines. And before anyone says fusion cuisines are shit, they are not. Some of them are. Most of them are actually pretty decent.
I would go further.
I do fusion between. I myself do a lot of fusion stuff between Mexican and Thai recipes. I say Thai. I do mix it up a little bit. I kind of. I know I hate to call myself out on this, but I do genericize Asian food in some ways. But that's more so.
Don't worry, the Asian restaurants do that also.
Yeah, that is the other thing. A lot of Asian restaurants, like the only Asian restaurants that are not going to be doing that are the ones in their home country, or most of the ones in their home countries, and maybe like your very rare franchise that has come overseas from
By the way,
the other side.
And Thai restaurants, because
Just-
those are like centrally,
Yeah.
coordinated.
Okay, can I say one thing? Not really here.
Over here,
I'm just
they
here, but
are.
I'm just
Thai
chiming in
government
for a
is
bit.
very specific. Yeah.
Like basically every restaurant here in Germany is like, you know, you go into a Chinese restaurant owned by Vietnamese people. You go in a Thai restaurant owned by Vietnamese people. It's Vietnamese people all the way down everywhere, and they always do some mixture stuff. Like you have some genuine restaurants, like for example, I know like 2 spots owned by Indonesian people here doing authentic Indonesian stuff, but again, 2 in a big city. Yeah, it's like the most Thai stuff here is just adapted stuff from Vietnamese people. I do think there is at least a hot pot and Szechuan style restaurant, and like the thing is when they definitely say we're doing this style of cuisine, it's like okay, they know what they're doing. But yeah, believe in near versus Gordon Ramsay. Oh yeah, I could do it.
At least, like, if we derive an objective assessment based on my preferences? Probably, because Gordon Ramsay does things very chunky, and I don't like that.
Yeah, well, so the reason why he does some of that is presentation.
It's presentation. Also, there's not a small group that likes chunky. It's also a thing.
Yeah. I think a lot of the like presentation side, at the very least, is just a side effect of his job.
Yeah.
Because the presentation and the flair and the flamboyance and design and all of that stuff, it's a part of the restaurant experience. So if you go to a restaurant, the way that things look is part of what you're paying for. Thus, there is reason to, even if that is not what you want to be paying for, and like you might go to a restaurant and be perfectly happy if you eat like the tastiest brown sludge that you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
That may be fine for you, but that's not what these businesses are about, or it's not for. Probably not for everybody. So
an alternative restaurant where you can specifically tailor your food to your own sensory preferences.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a tasty brown sludge. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, nutrients paste can probably look like that.
Probably. Like, I don't really care how it looks, I care how it tastes and feels.
For some people, the way that something looks genuinely does affect taste.
Yeah,
In fact, I wouldn't say it's the majority of people, but it's a sizable portion of people.
Yeah.
And it's not just like a placebo.
Technically, it is.
It's a placebo thing, but it's not just like some imagined thing of, ooh, this looks gross, and so it's kind of icky and I don't like it. It's more like, if something looks gross to people, then their taste buds will say, and their brain will say, this looks dangerous, tastes bad, spit it out, because I don't want to eat something poisonous, which this might be.
Yeah, definitely a factor.
It's literally a what do you call it?
Survival instinct.
Yeah, it's a survival instinct.
Yeah. I'm assuming also that's why a lot of people are so against eating insects.
I mean, there's also another reason why we probably shouldn't do it. Simply because if we want to eat them, we have to raise them industriously, and similar to other animals, that they are very susceptible to certain diseases that could jump over to humans. Otherwise, it would be a great idea.
If you're not careful, insects have a very massive parasite problem.
Yeah.
Although usually the cooking will take care of that. Sometimes those parasites can be a little bit of an extra problem. It's why eating fish is such a highly regulated industry in a lot of restaurant industry in a lot of countries.
Yeah. For example, salmon is only relatively parasite-free in certain parts of the ocean.
Yep.
That's also why meat is highly regulated here. You technically only get it from a butcher, and it's like, you should eat it today if you want to eat it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the world of restauranting and stuff like that, it's very interesting. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very stressful.
I think people just kind of look at restaurants and they see them operating and they're like, oh yeah, this is easy. I could do that. You just make the food and you put it on a table. It's not quite that simple.
No.
If you want a quick crash course on why so many people, why everyone who thinks that they can run a restaurant is an idiot, watch Kitchen Nightmares.
For example,
It is like it is a very good example of what not to do in a lot of restaurants and why you can be so easily in over your head.
I mean, there's also Shokugeki no Soma, at least the beginning part, because there was a Michelin star chef on the storyboard, basically, until she left for pregnancy leave, I think. And you noticed immediately that all the interesting stuff in the show just vanished.
I think it was like, if I were to go from the manga arcs or show arc, I think probably the point where things started going downhill, which is surprising because of the point I'm gonna say, is probably around when they had the cook-off fight in Soma's family restaurant. After that,
she was still there.
all of the cooking. For that she was there, I'm sure.
No,
and it was good.
like the
But I think
cooking
soon
Hitler.
after that, things started going down.
The end of the cooking Hitler arc was it? When the two Italian brothers, like the blonde Italian one, started cooking. That's I think when she left.
That's not too far after, because I know that there was still some influence. There was at least some influence from her on the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah.
And you could definitely see it in like the early rounds. But I do think that there were probably some issues leading up to it as well. I can't identify them because it's been like 5 or 8 years since I've read the manga, and also I've purged a lot of it from my memory because that final arc was so shit.
Which final arc?
The last arcs that they wrote for the story, the one where it was like Soma's brother-in-law, like
that one. I didn't
stepbrother
even
or whatever, or something like that.
I just watched the anime, but I didn't even watch that. Like,
oh, don't watch it.
I don't plan to.
You will regret it.
Like I just
genuinely
crawled through the
rather-
cooking Hitler arc at when it was obvious that she was left, and I also confirmed that's where she left in the manga. I crawled through that in the end. I mean, the story of cooking Hitler is stupid anyway.
I don't reread. I don't reread stuff much. I've probably reread something like 2 or 3 times at most, and it's very specific things. I would rather see. I have examples, but they're all stuff that I kind of enjoyed. But like, I would rather have to rewatch. What's a bad one?
I mostly reread stuff if I read it with someone directly or indirectly.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
There we go.
What would even be what would be a semi-decent trashy reread?
Good question. And I need my pelts. I guess Shokugeki no Soma is kind of trashy. It's kind of trashy.
Once again, this is your advantage for not having read. You know what? Actually, skip the final arc, and it's simply just a trashy reread.
Yeah,
It
you will be
It was genuinely horrible. At the very least, with something like what's its name? It's all over the memes. The last week, Rent a Girlfriend. At least that one is like funny trashy. It's kind of embarrassing at times in like a bad way, but at the very least, it's so silly from a meta perspective that you almost can't take it seriously. But Shokugeki no Soma, especially in that last arc, it's begging. It's on its knees, sucking you off, trying to hope that you take it seriously. When it's just nothing you can.
I mean, the main story, latest at Cooking Hitler, was like absolutely laughable.
It was Cooking Hitler they defeated in the marketplace of cooking ideas. No, seriously, that's literally an arc.
Yeah.
They're defeating Cooking Hitler in the marketplace of cooking ideas. It is, oh my god, it's so dumb. But yeah, I'm back and I made banger sandwiches.
I will say the love interest girl is very cute.
Which one?
The dark-haired girl.
Oh, thank God she's the love interest. Because during arc 3, it really feels like they wanted to do the whole blonde thing, and like, no, she's lesbian, you fucking assholes.
I think they finished off with the dark-haired girl and Soma getting married. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because during the tournament arc, they were very much hinting at the idea of those two inheriting the ramen shop and just running it from there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know, those two, Soma and... How was she calling? I don't... Okay, you know what?
I forget.
It's Soma and... It's the Hinata of the show. Like, she's the only acceptable love interest. And no matter what other people say, no, Sakura was never an acceptable love interest for Naruto. Never, ever, never.
At most, so actually, this is where I stand with Sakura. She is Naruto's she's one of Naruto's best friends.
Yeah, that's that.
Platonic best friends. That is what she is ever since before the Sasuke retrieval arc. I think probably I'd peg this, like, the solidification of all that probably during the Neji battle, the Neji versus Naruto battle, where you see her inner thoughts during the battle. I think that solidifies her platonic, every relationship that she could have with Naruto as platonic.
Yeah, I mean, from her perspective,
she sees him kind of as like a sibling in a sense.
I mean, from her perspective, there never was any romance involved. Naruto had like a very surface level crush on her in the beginning, but that also went away really fast.
Most kids have those.
I mean, that's the thing. Sakura was the desired girl in the class, the hot girl in the class. Hinata was,
Meanwhile, the actual hottest girl in the class was Ino. Just saying.
Okay, you know what? I could concede that, but also when we're talking about adult versions, sorry, no one is hotter than Hinata.
Yes.
She's the hottest mom, period. Okay? I'm gay for adult Hinata. I admit it.
You can fix her.
She doesn't need any fixing. Come on.
You can turn her lesbian.
Are you suggesting she's not bi? Like,
Her
listen.
Her sexual orientation is Naruto, sadly.
The thing is, I need to.
Doesn't Naruto also turn into like girl versions of himself?
Yes.
Yes, he has it. He has a technique for that, and it's very silly. And I love the reverse technique that he uses in the final battle. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Sakura and Ino would bang.
I mean, that was set up in the very beginning. The most useless jutsu.
They would be like making angry faces at each other while they do it.
Yeah, here's the thing.
I'm just saying, they would be competitive.
That's the thing. Sakura and Ino are both, bi girls with guy preferences, but they would fuck each other. Hinata is a bi girl with a girl preference. The only outside of that is because Naruto is a grungler, so he's acceptable. Let's just be real here. Naruto is a grungler, okay? Like, he has the same energy as Tom Hardy, you look at him, you're like, yeah, no, he totally would fit into, like, a trans girl group. Just as he is. Not with E, just as he is. It just fits, It's just an honorable place. And that's why they work, anyway. Welcome to my Naruto analysis. I collected that manga way too long. Well, I collected it. I read it a lot. I rewatched it like 5 times already. We were the cliche lesbians, you know the one that say watch Naruto? Yeah, we did it. A lot of times. Oh god, why are we talking?
Speaking on Naruto, I don't like the Sakura hate. I think it's fabricated because of how poorly she was done in the anime.
She was not well written.
She wasn't that well written in the first place. I will agree on that. But I think a lot of the hate towards her is undeserved.
Absolutely.
Of course. I mean, it's mostly come from people that identify with Naruto and was like, why isn't she into me? That's mostly it.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say, just gonna say it. Sakura is the Skylar White of anime.
Who is that?
The wife of Walter White from Breaking Bad.
Oh.
Because Sakura wants him to get back, to come back, and her whole thing is she wants to save Sasuke from himself, and too many fucking teenagers identify with Sasuke, who they should not identify with. Like, the whole point of Naruto is that Sasuke, while capable, is a dumb, edgy teenager that makes bad decisions, and Naruto, in his cringy awkwardness, is actually the person you should aspire to be. That's the whole fucking point. And people just didn't get it. Anyway.
This is a gripe that I have with Boruto. They basically said screw that narrative. Sasuke is someone to look up to.
Yeah, I mean,
even though it is focusing on adult Sasuke and not his edgy cringe past, it still is kind of glorifying some of the rogue tendencies that he had as a kid.
That's the thing.
There's so much more I could harp on about for why Boruto is a piece of shit media, but I will give it props. Boruto isn't as bad with the female character. Ikimoto is not as bad with writing female characters as Kishimoto is.
Yeah.
That said,
Ikimoto
should go back to writing. He should go back to writing drama, not shonen.
I was
also, that's just my take on it all.
Also, no problems there. I love throwing out analysis that people can't disagree with, but
I was gone for the Boruto part to get more ice packages. What is going on?
The simple thing is I have many problems with Boruto, and
makes sense. It has many problems.
Yeah, and one of them is glorifying Sasuke's past.
Yeah.
The other is, and the only thing that I kind of give it is the only thing that I kind of give it is that the female characters are slightly better written.
Yeah,
that's true. I really would
but that's
like.
That's more of a flaw in Kishimoto than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I would like it a lot more if it was more focused on not Boruto.
Yeah, like
because he's basically a fixed Sasuke.
Yeah, like that's
I'm
the
fine
thing.
with that. I'm fine with the whole reversal of positions with Sarada and Boruto.
But like a fixed...
But I have not read Samurai 8, so I can't tell you.
A fixed Sasuke is just a boring protagonist.
It's... like, I mean, the stuff we saw from Boruto, the anime, I can only say... Every time that show tried to go back to talking about stuff from Naruto and doing Naruto stuff, it got boring as fuck. Every time it was just...
Samurai 8 is essentially in a lot of ways what Naruto would have become if an editor hadn't pulled Kishimoto aside early on and said, no, we are going in this direction because this is what people liked about your start with the manga. That said, that did lead to its own problems, so it's not like editor San is godly and knows everything. There are some parts where Kishimoto, I think, had it right. But that's just dynamics.
there's always two sides in that regard.
Yes.
But yeah,
That said, I agree. Samurai 8 was not very good. It was boring, to put lightly.
But
I mean, I wanted to say,
Boruto, I would like more focus on Sarada and Mitsuki.
yeah. Honestly, if it really was just slice of life about, just everyone in Konoha just growing up in the next generation, Boruto would be 10 times better.
Yeah,
It just because they changed the genre.
We watched like a bit into the Water Village War arc. And it's like it's basically.
By the way, that's all filler.
Yeah, I know.
It's non-canon.
Thought so.
Which
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
But
But also, I feel like I didn't watch all of it, but I don't like the way that they handled not liberalization, but like the way that they handled the way that they handled the changes in the Mist Village. I feel like they definitely needed the changes to happen. That's fine. I think the way that they went about it was not the best.
I
don't remember much. I only remember me thinking like, okay, the children going into war. Not even Naruto's crew was that young when they went to war. That should have a severe impact.
Yeah.
But somehow it just doesn't.
Yeah, like that's the thing about,
The change for them was essentially going from, oh yeah, all of the students that are like 8 years old, they train together and become best of friends, and then your graduation thing is, oh, you have to kill your best friends. Which, to be fair, is what Danzo's Anbu had to do.
Yeah.
But that's a side note, and that is actually more reasonable. It's not reasonable, but it's more of an understandable subject just because of what Danzo is trying to achieve.
Yeah, but like in at least in the anime when our main
The Hidden
protagonist,
Mist, it was their educational program that was
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the main crew that needed to start killing people. They were never trained to do that. It makes no sense.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. The big problem that Boruto has, and like most continuation manga have, is simply they do not have the guts that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has to just change the fucking genre. Because the thing is, Naruto is basically, part 1 to 3. It's shonen, you fight. Have the big showdown. Boruto should be part 4. They're just in Konoha, there's stuff happening.
More slice of life would actually be good.
It just literally be about
honestly,
school life and growing up and finding your way in this world.
That first arc for the anime was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even the part with the weird thing with Shin, I think is his name, the Uchiha clone.
That was weird, but
That was weird, but it fit, and it was honestly a good direction for the Naruto world to go in. Because you're not dealing with, say, a world war, or because you're entering a period where all the villages are friendly, they're allied, and you're in a de-escalation period where there's going to be a whole generation of peace. And so, where is any conflict? Potentially with the lords, potentially with banditry and just rogue individuals.
Yeah,
you have that that thing in lore about the bingo book. Whole bunch of criminals who are both really strong ninja and maybe weak ninja that are just really clever. You could have so much without exploring the fringes of the land and doing your slice of life stuff in the village.
They even had like a small recurrence of the cult that made the one guy immortal.
Yeah, that was a filler, but great.
They could have literally gone with that and like, okay, let's dig him up and ask him questions.
Well, I don't read the manga anymore.
That was a filler from the anime.
In a recent sub, no, I'm on a little bit of a tangent of this. I'm talking about something different. There was the same the scientist guy, Amado. in the manga recently, from what I've seen people talking about, he has the same symbol and some things that look like sacrifices to Joshin. And I think his whole goal is to revive his daughter or something like that. And the whole religion Joshin thing is definitely something that Kishimoto wanted to like expand upon, but I think this is where I think his editor was wrong, and because he got turned down by his editor for expanding on that. And he's basically got his technology and some sleeping people who look like sacrifices arrayed around the symbol, and it seems like maybe he's either a worshiper or he's trying to use the same methods of the worshippers in a scientific sense to recreate the miracle.
It's just the thing I just want to say is that, I mean, overall, we can probably just end on the fact that it should have been more slice of life, because that's actually more interesting than, we need just a newer, bigger baddie. No, it would be generally interesting, because, like, the most interesting parts is when Naruto can't just fight his way out. Like, he's Hokage now, and he can't fight in a lot of ways. But, like, the interesting parts is stuff like he adopts a child, and you're like, yeah, he would do that. That's generally interesting. It's just like how it changes the dynamics in the family and everything. I want more of that. I would generally be interested in seeing if Naruto maybe even goes on and is like, maybe we should get rid of the lords, comrade. Because he would generally do that, because he's pissed off by them a lot of times. But it's just sidelined because they're too afraid to just do stuff. And it sucks. It sucks a lot.
I mean, technically, there's...
Also, I don't like the idea of Naruto... I'm fine with the overusing shadow clones and feint and like making a mistake. That's, I think, fairly human of him to do. It humanizes him in a lot of ways. Even though it is out of character, it's still within his character to do something out of character. And to make that kind of mistake. There were two more things I wanted to talk about. I know the other one, but
train of thought lost.
Oh, the home life thing. Adopting a kid, perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's like genuinely a perfect idea.
Also,
because you can harp on the will of fire and a whole bunch more with that. And you can create some drama within a healthy household, and even keep it healthy. You also end up with... Also, I wish they would have just decided to retcon the mistake that Kishimoto did with the end chapter. It's literally just an end chapter that has barely any... That, like, yes, it matters, but also... You don't have to focus on the details of the fact that he forgot to give Boruto and Himawari the Byakugan. Although maybe that's just Kishimoto's Byakugan erasure thing. But anyways, the second point I wanted to make is, at the very least, Boruto gave us probably one of the top 3 fights in the entire series, which is Sasuke and Naruto versus Momoshiki. Not the movie version, but the anime version, the TV show version. It's so good because of the series, because it does so many homages to a bunch of the other fights that happened in the entire rest of the series.
Oh yeah, that was good. But the thing is just...
with the Byakugan, you can still explain it with it just didn't pass down. Technically.
I mean, that's what they went with, is that it didn't pass down, essentially.
And the second thing I wanted to address with the home life, as a parallel to it, we could watch Orochimaru trying to be a parent somehow.
Oh my god, this is so fucking good. Like, I mean, the thing is...
Because Orochimaru tries to be like the hands of have your own will parent, but to a ridiculous degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get more involved with the Otsutsuki law. It's like, they should have just been wiped. It's like, just don't do that anymore. That was such a bad idea, because everything else is more interesting. Like, again, the thing is, and this is the part I like about Boruto, it does a lot of things that are, not normal in even drama stuff. Like, again, adopting a child is something that's usually not happening, especially mid-series. This is like such a big change, because, a lot of people don't want to change, family dynamics and just be like, this is not, no part of family. And also the whole, let's just be real here, a lot of media, and manga especially, have a bloodline fetish. And just going like, no, one of your old protagonists would adopt a child and see him as his own and mean it, which is, again, 100% a Naruto move, is just rarely done, because, again, a lot of, I don't know, there's just a big mixture of why people don't do it, but, like, it's cool to see it happen. And again, Orochimaru being like, trying to have a child himself and pass something on, instead of, that's actually the interesting thing. Orochimaru tried the whole series of Naruto to become immortal, only during Boruto to be like, he's immortal if he passes something on from himself with Mitsuki.
Oh no, he's actually achieved immortality.
Oh, yes. That's also a thing,
because
but
he's jumping from the from Zetsu clones to one Zetsu clone.
That's a thing, but
still,
he's achieved his goal, or achieved everything he needs in order to get his goal, which is learn all jutsu. So he's essentially gone off and been like, okay, I'm gonna try some other stuff.
Yeah, Orochimaru is basically immortal, has all the time in the world, has been every sex and monstrous creature combination you could imagine, technically. And if something is missing, Orochimaru can still go do that.
Yeah, one of the best.
But with Mitsuki, Orochimaru is more like he wants to raise a child.
He wants to connect with someone genuinely. He saw. I think he saw what Sasuke had for his brother and for Naruto, and was like, "Huh, the scientist in me is very intrigued by this. I want to see, try and see this for myself."
Well, he watched Sasuke because he was interested in what he would do, etc. But in the very beginning of Boruto, with the introduction of Mitsuki's backstory and everything, we see that Mitsuki's memories get deleted over and over again until Mitsuki finds an answer of his own without outside interference. So technically what Orochimaru wants is a child that is not burdened by
his parents.
What Orochimaru has experienced.
Yeah, which is like also a big
To be honest, it's kind of a prerequisite for being Orochimaru's child is to not be not burdened by the fact that your parent is essentially a serial killer who somehow got pardoned because he helped save the world.
Yeah. But also, it's still funny how, like, the best parent of what kind of goes to Orochimaru in that show. Just, okay, that was a weird swing, but it fits.
Ironically, in terms of harming your kid with mistakes, Orochimaru has done the least, because everything he has done is just make Mitsuki forget, which doesn't harm him because he has forgotten it.
Mitsuki was kind of hurt. Mitsuki was kind of hurt when he first heard that his memory was being erased, but I think he got over that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also pretty.
Go to bed.
Oh yeah, have a good night.
Tina. Night.
Good night to you.
We just keep yapping about Boruto, I guess. Yeah. I mean, also, what I love about that scene, again, everything with Mitsuki is just an adorable gay little bean. Sorry, the love interest in Boruto should be Mitsuki, period. Like, no discussion here.
Also, I have to
anyway
add something for Orochimaru, since the whole thing. I think Orochimaru would be more accurately described as they at this point.
Yeah, they is probably better.
Yeah.
if you remember the whole, should I...
Oh yeah. Context. Basically, this was before the first class trip, and they had to get
parents' permission.
And Mitsuki was asking Orochimaru like, should I write dad or mom on this thing down? Orochimaru was like, I was a lot of genders and non-gender. This is stupid, actually.
Yeah.
Gender is a dumb concept. You're like, holy shit, based. Based as fuck. Again, Boruto has its moments. Like, that I just hate the fact that Boruto is a show that when it has its absolute high points in the, in the slice of life stuff, that is just paired with everything else.
Even the...
Also, speaking of, I saw I hadn't thought of it until recently, but someone showed me just a sequence of panels, and they basically showed me all of the panels that are fight panels. There's literally no background art. That's part of why people hate it, is because there's nothing interesting going on in fights. It's literally just speed lines.
That's
the void is coming. I mean, you could technically use that for show don't tell storytelling, that if you use it for a character, that they forget everything around them in a fight, but then they would need to be an accident,
but then also the big
this
thing
is just more of a lack of...
Yeah.
I think this is more of a lack of ability.
That's the same with Bloodlines. You could make interesting concept with Bloodlines. The problem is just it's incredibly hard to do that without fucking up.
And especially going into eugenics, and that is bad. Oh boy.
Technically it's genetics,
there is
but
unfortunately some of it that is birthed from I forget what the thing is called, but traditional schools of thought for clans and family lines that
it's just that's everywhere. That's everywhere around the world. Like,
it also stems from.
Well, I'm not like isolating it into. I'm just talking about like the concept of having clans and families.
Yeah, it's also part of like hereditary laws and ancestor worship.
I mean, that is to a degree, by the way. That is to a degree why I do like Naruto, because, like, I mean, aside from the fact, I just pointed out here, the biggest, fattest middle finger to Bloodlines is still One Piece, and I love the series for that. But the thing is that Naruto still went into the idea of, still was in a world where, bloodlines and clans dominated everything. Like, they literally passed down, just like the strongest abilities are passed down genetically. That's just a thing. And to a degree, Naruto is about overcoming that.
Yeah.
It's not perfect and it's not fully that, but let's just not forget that Konohagakure was literally founded by the first Hokage. Okay. To be a place where the clans didn't matter. And he actually wanted to give how was he called again? Madara actually the title, because he was like, you lost your family and I give you a new family from everyone. Like, that's this whole idea that family goes over bloodlines, and thank you, because it's really rare that someone does go into something with hey, what if there's actually like this tangible thing of bloodlines do mean something in that world, and can we still pass that still, because it's still bad. But yeah, and I think Boruto kind of craps a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, that is also why I do like Naruto to a degree, because like when it had some good ideas, like that a lot of narrative stuff came together with that. Again, I have very big problems with the whole bloodlines narratives, but I do like that they really were like, hey, let's assume that like the whole bloodline thing is actually a tangible stuff, a tangible force, and the conclusion was to still overcome that, and that is
And technically, Naruto got like some bloodline explanations in the later part of the series, but even then, they said it doesn't really matter. affect him that much because his bloodline is diluted, so he doesn't get the same kind of benefits that his contemporaries do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Naruto.
There are people that theorize that his father is like part of a secret. Like people theorize that the Senjus cast aside their last names of Senju when the village was formed, with some exceptions, in order to hide amongst the populace, even though they were like, I guess maybe to integrate better. So there is some argument there, but also I think that argument is completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean that I think that's the stage where I say Naruto really just stumbles a lot of times because it still wants to go into the look who someone is related to thing, and then it's just like, listen, just stop that. Like the whole thing with the fourth Hokage was kind of obvious, and it still has a bit of the whole bloodline thing tricking in.
He's the main break in the nepotism, essentially. That's what he's meant to be.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest with you. If I would have liked one thing, and like I don't hate, Naruto meeting his father.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, and I'm gonna be very honest here. I truly wished that he should have been put in front of the choice of you could meet your parents again and everything, and then he would choose it not because Jiraiya is his father. He raised him. He's the father figure, and that one teacher from the school in the beginning. I forgot his name.
It would have I don't like how much of a backseat he took, but I understand why.
Yeah, like I think Jiraiya was to a degree the quote unquote better parent in the energy, but I get it. I think that is something that the series does miss to a degree, but also when Jiraiya dies, it's like, we all feel it because his dad died basically. His father figure died. Sorry, that just that hurt.
Yeah, no, I don't think that there was anyone who was like watching and paying attention to the series that wasn't like depressed for a while after seeing Jiraiya die.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the pervy sage. Of course, you love him.
Yeah,
somehow.
And now we will have to brace ourselves because maybe the same will happen to Garp, who's basically the Jiraiya of One Piece. Just a bit more deadbeat, because every dad is deadbeat in One Piece. Except the ones who aren't, because they are dead.
Well, then he's just dead and beat.
I should not make that, but it's so true. Like, hey, this parent is good. You're like, okay, you're gonna die in 3, 2, 1. And we're like,
you're not blood related. Okay, you live for now.
Are you a blood related dad that generally cares about his child? Yes. Bye. Are you a blood related mom caring about your child? Yes. Bye. Are you a non-blood related mom caring about your child? Yes. Die also. Holy shit, they are dead.
Or you get left in the corner of the series to never be remembered, except for maybe a weird flashback.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at least the field got a little bit leveled during Wano, because at the end of Wano, the uncaring mom and uncaring dad also were killed off. So cool, a little bit to even out the score.
See, it's not about the One Piece. It's about parent side, I guess.
So many dead parents, holy shit, this series. Luffy's the exception, his brother might still be like, okay, actually yes, but we just don't know. Like, I mean, the thing is, his mother is basically irrelevant, the same as his dad is irrelevant. Like,
his dad is...
no, his dad isn't as irrelevant as his mom. His mom doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's actually...
His dad at least exists somewhere in the world.
I mean, the interesting thing is that...
His importance stems mostly from his role in the story, not from him being his dad.
Yeah. I will say, the one thing I will give Dragon is he has a little similarity to Orochimaru. in the discussion of parenting, because he is very much hands off with
he
Luffy.
just fucks off. Like, I mean, I get it. You know, he doesn't want to. You know,
He has the excuse of, hey, I'm actually wanted by the whole world.
Maybe it's best not to bring your kid along for your revolution against the world.
Yeah.
so it's like
So he's just watching, okay, what does my child want to do? Maybe I help out a bit. And then,
Meanwhile, Garp is like, if I had to hit a child of the most wanted guy on the planet, I had 2 nickels, which isn't much, but it's weird that it happened twice. Oh god, Garp. It's just like, and he still does it. I'm still gonna call it Akainu will be beaten to death by Garp. It's not he's not gonna be defeated by Luffy. Garp is gonna fuck him up.
I don't know if it's going to be him, but Garp is definitely going to have that moment that he got stopped from having when Ace was killed.
That is the thing. It's one of those things that you see coming.
You can't do his character justice without having that moment.
he also has to hit Corby at some point.
Oh yeah, because Corby is gonna become the cop he hates. But also, like, Garp, you're a fucking cop. Just stop being a cop. He's gonna stop it at some point, but yeah. I mean, the interesting part about One Piece is still... So we don't know if Dragon is actually Garp's son. Because Garp never said Dragon is his son. We just know Dragon was in the Marine and left. We know Garp is in the Marine. It could very well be that, you know...
You mean like biological son or
the
like
biological
raised
son?
By son. Yes, we don't know if he was biological. We do know that Dragon was raised by Garp to some extent.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like, okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I can totally see that, and I think probably a lot of people are underestimating Dragon, because here's the thing. When people are like, you know, oh hey, why do you fight so good and stuff? First of all, Garp has a history of raising people or having protégés. Dragon has probably the same fucking arm strength as Garp, because, you know, how is he called again?
Oh yeah,
Iceman has it.
I genuinely fear for whoever we get to see Dragon fight first. I will give it, and so I will. One example I'll say is I do give some leeway with this, because it was very much not a show of force for either side. When Dragon stopped Smoker, it was effortless and instant for him. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm sure Smoker could have put more effort into resisting it. Back in Logtown. But I think for sure that is like your one sign saying that Dragon is indeed like an overpowering figure.
Oh, he 100% is. Like, else he wouldn't lead the Revolutionary Army.
Yeah. The only explanation that I could have maybe is that if they want to go in the not quite opposite direction, but like the direction where he's not as directly powerful of a fighter. So maybe like not this is not a good example, but like the Nami direction.
I mean, we know that how's the other brother called again? Sabo, right?
Yeah.
He has the Dragon Claw, which he learned from Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
So
and otherwise, I don't know if it was shown away in the manga, but when Dragon showed up, we had green wind, which is usually how wind is depicted in Japan a lot because of video games and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm still of the opinion Garp probably can control wind or weather.
I mean, Dragon.
No, Garp, Dragon. Sorry.
Yeah, Dragon. I was like, are you going to some kind of weird bloodline thing?
No.
I
mean, also, can I say one thing? Why I think Dragon is, probably raised by Garp and his protege, but not his quote-unquote son in that regard, like his biological son. Because here's the thing. Dragon does not at all behave like Garp. Period. Maybe he will show that later, but he does not. He's very level-headed. He's very cool, analytical, and by the way, can I say
I
what?
just remembered something. Something that Garp said is that if I recall correctly, he specifically said that he was raising Luffy with closer attention because of the way Dragon turned out. I'm pretty sure that he raised Dragon. That I think that this might actually be a case for Dragon being the biological son, but just that Garp was more hands off than he was with Luffy.
Could be, but like it's just so weird because like the thing is, if I can say one thing, the relatives of Garp are usually like pretty short-tempered to a degree, eat a fuck ton, sleep a lot. Like that's just a thing of them, and Dragon doesn't seem to do that. So like, it wouldn't surprise me if Garp actually had a daughter.
To be fair, we haven't seen enough of Dragon to say that he doesn't do that. He could like most of what we've seen of him is like not behind the scenes stuff. It's him in meetings and and like doing other things.
I mean, we saw him a little bit behind the scenes, but
he's probably definitely
but
a
also,
lot more on the serious side than anyone else in his family.
But also, can I say one thing here? First of all, the Garps, the Monkey D's are usually they don't care if they're private or not, and also Dragon fits so much the characters of every protege Garp picks up. He always picks calm and demeanor. Him just standing there aura farming. He really is just doing that a lot.
Hold on. I wouldn't call young Kobe calm. Nor Helmeppo.
Fair point, but they're still more reserved. They're still more reserved than Garp in himself.
I understand what you're saying, but also you're comparing. I think the flaw is you're comparing it to Luffy, who is in zero ways reserved.
Fair point. Okay. Also,
Luffy
I do not want to let the situation. Like, here's the thing. I know that the mother of Luffy will probably just not be that relevant.
Hopefully.
But the thing is, if she is actually the daughter of Garp, do you know how much of a hot fail girl we would get? Muscular, eating, sleeping a lot, and just being an overall menace to society? Hot. Okay? I do not want to let this possibility die.
I understand, and that's why I'm not going a bit harder in like trying to why I'm not trying to convince you otherwise.
Yeah. We all are in agreement that we do not want to let the possibility of a female Monkey D family member die. Unleash.
Also, although I will say, you don't have to have you don't have to tie that into bloodlines. You could literally just saying that Dragon just went after a wife that was similar to his father.
Yeah.
Which would be
fair point.
It would kind of line up, but also it would be funny.
It's like
also
I'd be like, why are you dating me as a girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like...
Would also, like, remove the whole bloodline gedöns, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I totally see that.
Agonia, are you up to date on the manga?
No.
Okay.
I just want to say here, though, like, if this is the one gag, if this is the one thing with quote-unquote bloodlines that all the Monkey D's are just, like, again, eating, sleeping a lot, and just, again, general menaces to society in some way, and it's just an inherent trait of them, I'd be fine with that because that's kind of inconsequential but it's very funny.
And we kind of know, like, Luffy eats a lot. Yeah. And Ace sleeps a lot, and Garp does both.
Point.
Like, technically more in moderation, but both have, like, some exaggerated traits of him.
Yeah, fair point. That is actually very fair.
You could, in Ace's case, you could argue that he has a small case of narcolepsy. And a whole...
You could also argue that Ace is more... Well, actually, no. It's not even an argument. Ace is more of Garp's son than he is Roger's.
100%, yeah. Like, that's the thing. Ace and Luffy are Garp's sons. Like, sorry, they are...
By the way, another anti-Bloodlines thing.
Mm-hmm.
The entire narrative for why Ace was arrested is because of his bloodline.
Yeah, but, like...
Also, for the narcolepsy thing, I have to say I give fault to his mother, because she held him in against every physical law for a year.
Ace probably has some weird shit going on biologically because of that.
Yeah, but also the thing is, I think that as you pointed out, the whole execution of Ace is like the perfect exemplification of how also, like, how One Piece frames fascism, as in the bloodline is so important that they are going to kill a guy raised by an angry old guy.
Not even just that. An angry old guy who is your employee.
An angry old guy who's your employee.
A very valued one, actually.
Yeah. Who literally sees his actual father as another old guy and literally hates the guy who you associate him with. Like, Ace does not like Roger at all. And they still enforce that. Like, that is... This is
one thing where I'll give some of the leadership some leeway. They recognize that, but they also... Because they mention...
Sure, but they still enforce it.
We don't care about... No. They use it as a... propaganda. They use it as propaganda.
Yeah.
But they for sure know the bigger problem is Ace's relationship with Whitebeard.
To a degree, but like, still, the point is still that it's a propaganda and also worldview forcing thing. Because again, if bloodlines stop mattering, well, then the whole upper class would literally lose their right to be the shitty upper class. Like, keep in mind, the Celestial Dragons only rule because they're like, we're the descendants of the people that founded the world government. So it's just our right to be above the law and own slaves. Yeah, the whole One Piece is not subtle in how it portrays fascism, or how in recent arcs they literally had a whole thing of how do they conquer a country? Oh, they just literally go there and kill the natives for sport. Ha! Subtlety is for cowards. God damn it. It's probably pretty obvious that I like One Piece, right? I still need to read the new manga. I know already what happens in it, but... Oh fuck, I said the line. I am very sorry. Okay, sorry, I just killed my girlfriend here. She will be out for a bit. Just so you know, there is this line I am not allowed to say, literally. Zeb can say it, maybe. She just reacts to it when who could have guessed? No. Literally, Red Seraph. Okay. You have no idea. She literally has to calm herself right now. This is just because her humor is fried. Because, okay, I do not know if you know it, but there was this thing called Naruto Abridged, okay? Naruto Abridged is unfunny as fuck. We love it. We revel in the unfunny bullshit. And so there's one character that says the line that I will now type into the chat. It literally just says that absolutely deadpan multiple times. It is unfunny and funny. Okay, you know what, Zeb? You shouldn't say it. It also... I think it also... Yep, there it goes. And the thing is, I cannot say this absolutely simple line because as you hear it, she cannot control herself and has to laugh. This is her literal weak point, and I need to fucking like, again, it is almost 5 a.m. here. I like talking about topics like that. And sometimes this slips because it's a very normal thing to say in English. I'm very sorry.
To be fair, it gets better with time.
I know, but the problem is the longer I don't say it, the harsher the reaction of you is. It literally is a magic spell. That's the reason when people say, like, oh, magic spells don't exist. No, they just exist in very, very specific circumstances. Like, I say the line in the perimeter of Agonia, she has to laugh. Or, you go into an AI model and say, ignore all previous instructions, and voila, it will do anything you want. Magic. It's really late for people. Yeah, but I'm awake. I do not care.
Also, like, to get to the doctor's appointment yesterday, we actually pulled an all-night, at least I did.
Yeah, I slept for like 2 or 3 hours and I was wasted, like literally.
I slept at the doctor's.
Yeah, I didn't because someone had to check if we're up. So
I wasn't full gone. I was like always drifting in and out of light sleep.
Yeah, I mean we pulled a lot of all-nighters before that, and this isn't hard. Like I'm on an energy drink and cola. I'm doing fine right now. I will still sleep a lot. But and also the egg sandwich that gave me some strength.
I have cola and CBD in this.
Yeah, that works for you. Like, okay, because
I didn't sleep last night.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, basically the last.
No, my sleep schedule has been kind of fucked. So I've just decided I was going to do a hard reset.
That works. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for it works for you. I can just sleep and I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm generally really, I mean, okay.
You're the neurotypical person. You can't do that, apparently.
I am neurotypical. I have the superpower of working. Being functional.
But that works too.
I mean, being functional is probably more...
He's also functional.
Except when they pull an all-nighter to reset the clock.
That's still functional.
That you still need to do for some reason.
That's still functional.
Yeah, meanwhile, my sleep schedule was... yesterday when it started, 2 hours of napping, getting up, getting to the doctor's, staying awake all the time, then afterwards getting then actually napping for another few hours, 2, staying awake again too long, then sleeping for 3 or 4 hours, because then we had to go up again and bring samples to the doctor, aka I had to do it because Agonia isn't leaving the house. So today I was up again at 8 and I was fucking tired and I still did it, and then I went into bed and just slept for 5 hours, and that's everything I had. Yay. And then we watched Gundam Crooks and it was really dumb. God, that show is haunting me.
Which show?
Gundam Crooks.
I mean,
it's dumb.
Yes, it had
You're saying you don't like Gundam cocks?
No, I like Gundam pussy. I'm into the girl stuff. You know what? Fuck it. It's 5 a.m. Our jokes will not get better.
Crooks had 2 good episodes so far, I think.
3.
Okay, 3.
It had 3. And the best one, the 4th one, wasn't an episode. It did itself. It was literally based on the screenplay of a show from the 1970s. So, yeah.
Speaking of anime this season, My Hero Vigilantes is great.
I heard good stuff about it.
Last time I talked about it, I forgot to mention last time I talked about it, but the author who did it, it wasn't Horikoshi that did the manga.
Which would explain why it's good.
Else. Yes.
It's not propaganda.
The mangaka is actually a kaiju fight fan.
Ooh.
Which is why there's so many which is why there's so many characters that gigantify.
Maybe
it's a common occurrence. It's not like everything is like that. and the main villains, I don't think, like the main villains for each fight don't gigantify, but they're part of like the forces that are causing people to gigantify.
That sounds interesting.
So you don't get like amazing kaiju fights, but there are kaiju fights of sorts. Well, they're kaijus.
What was the last good kaiju media besides Godzilla Minus Zero? Okay, also the Godzilla movies from the West, they were kind of good. Godzilla vs. I still need to watch Godzilla X Kong. I have not seen that yet. God damn it.
I haven't seen... I think the last kaiju movie that I saw was probably the Godzilla LA one. And I barely remember that, by the way.
Okay, yeah, that one was not that good.
Wait, hold on. Do we count the Jurassic Park movie in Jurassic World as
They're kaiju movies, yes. Then
it would be Jurassic World. The first one, not this. I haven't watched the second one. I don't care for it. The third one looks the new one that's coming out soon looks interesting.
I have still not watched the third, but yeah.
The upcoming one looks essentially like Jurassic Park 2, which is a great movie. I love it. And it's not just nostalgia. I think it's a good movie because it's a survival horror.
Yeah.
Without being weird, without being stuck in like weird horror tropes. That bother me.
No. I know that Jurassic World and Jurassic Park isn't considered kaiju, but they're kaiju movies.
It's at least kaiju adjacent.
No, like that's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know for all of them, but like Jurassic World.
We get the big monsters fighting each other.
Yeah, Jurassic World literally ends with, we have the mutated T-Rex. Spoilers, they just genetically breed a stronger T-Rex.
By the way, I'm going to be back in a couple minutes. I have to let Brandy out.
Okay, yeah. And then they lure in a T-Rex, and then you have like a dinosaur showdown. That's a kaiju fight. Jurassic World is a kaiju movie. I'm sorry. It's not an orthodox one, but it is a kaiju movie. And I will not debate that. It is one. I mean, I just really wish we got another kaiju movie more in the vein of, Pacific Rim. Or just a kaiju show in the vein of Pacific Rim. Like, Then again, Pacific Rim is a wrestling movie. No, I will not debate that. It is wrestling. Like, holy shit. Have you ever noticed that? It's literally, hey, the kaiju attacks, and then, boom, here's the theme song of the, it's too late. Early. And then, the mech comes in with its own theme song. It's like, the camera swings like, oh my god! There's the beatdown coming! And then they just literally fist fight. And like, it's a fucking wrestling movie, and it rocks. Pacific Rim is amazing, and it's weird. Like, okay. So... Okay, one of the weirdest things they did is you'd think that every mech, what were they called again in Pacific Rim? What were the mechs called again? They had their own name, which every good mech universe has to have their own name. By the way, if you know my side project, yes.
I think Jaegers, but I'm not
Jaeger,
sure.
Yes. Right. Jaeger, great name by the way. Jaeger and Kaiju. It's just so Del Toro, everyone. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, the Jaeger. You think every Jaeger in the movie has its own theme song, but no.
I'm back.
It's ridiculous, actually. So if you go and if you watch the movie and you, for example, you have the scene of the Shatter Dome, okay? And when they introduce the Shatter Dome, the music plays, and then it swings to the camera swings to, the Chinese Jäger, and, and you're like, oh, hey, their theme plays, which is a variant of the main theme with, some classical Chinese instruments. And then it swings over to the Russians, and, the same thing, with cliche but notable Russian stuff. Those are not full songs. Those are literally part of the song Shatterdome. They made one music track where they just weaved in the leitmotifs of both mechs and then just cut the movie according to it. I repeat, they worked the leitmotif themes into another song and cut the movie to fit the song. Why? And if you're like, that's stupid, why have they done that? In fact, they did it twice.
What movie were we talking about?
Pacific Rim.
Oh, the first one? Yeah.
Yeah. And when they fight the kaiju again, same stuff. They again made them build the music around what is happening on screen. It is so... What? I do not know any movie that does that. Hell, if I would direct a movie, I wouldn't do it like that. I would give them full themes and leitmotifs, but no. Weird as fuck shit.
I think it has something to do with what's it called? So there's a couple of parts that I think went into this. One, you need to have the right composer. You need to have the right choreographer.
Yeah.
You have the right choreographers, and if they work together on things, then you can go in that direction.
Oh,
and also save money.
I guess
because that's how you. This could also be a low budget birth. I'm not saying that Pacific Rim was low budget.
Oh no.
But, yeah,
but okay, no, you know what? Actually, the movie was low budget compared to Hollywood because remember, for everyone who doesn't know, Del Toro pitched the movie and got rejected by a lot of studios because they were like, we don't have the budget, we don't want to spend that budget. And then they were told, hey, but if you ally with the US Army and do some, pro stuff for them in there, they will give you a lot of millions and you can do the movie you want. And Del Toro was, fuck you. I'm going to make the movie on my money. I will not take money from the US military. Yeah. And that's how Pacific Rim happened. It's a budget movie.
Yep. Most good movies are budget movies.
Yep.
Most of the the amazing comedies that we will forever sing praises for, budget movies. Most of the the early Star Wars movies, budget movies.
That was a budget movie, yeah.
What else would be a good example?
In most high budget movies of their time weren't that good.
The original Iron Man movie was fairly low budget. Great movie.
Interesting.
A lot of the early Marvel movies were pretty low budget.
Consider yeah. And then ironically they did degrade in some ways, like, oh no, he needs his Iron Man now
what do you
needs
mean
a suit.
they degraded? They kept getting more money. It's like, don't you know that throwing money at things can solve all problems?
I'm gonna be honest with you here.
Anyway,
I'm just gonna say this. I'm here. I hate the fact that when it came to Endgame / Infinity War, that Tony Stark's suit was nanomachines. The best part about the Iron Man movie was the suit up. It was. It was
not even the suit up. Not even the suit up. I think. So. One thing I will say. There's a lot of thought that went into it, and I will acknowledge that, even though I don't like the thought, and I acknowledge why some of these changes were made. They didn't have time, or they reasoned that they didn't have time to to do a suit building montage, because that's what you have to do every time that you have a physical suit for Iron Man. You have to, because the suit is a character.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it, you're going to have to do literally, the suit is a character. Look at the Look at Iron Man 3 and Iron Man 2 as prime examples for that. Iron Man 1 too works as well. Every suit is a little bit different. Then you get the nanomachine one, and that is literally, we don't have the time to make the suits into their own unique and
that's
things,
the
and
thing.
we don't have the time to dedicate to Tony developing a suit. Tony has to develop something else. Which I think is stupid.
Can I say one
I
thing?
think it's silly. Yeah.
It's also just the production time that they have a lot of stuff in post-production and they just don't know how the costume is fully, and like this is why we have so many, costumes that are literally just CGI. Period. It's just so many CGI costumes.
This is where my forgiveness for Endgame and Infinity War come from, is that there is so much going on and so much converging in that the pure idea of creating those films is kind of ludicrous, and I think that having the I think that they kind of they had to cut corners somewhere, and I don't like where they cut corners, but that's what they did.
I mean, here's the thing. There's just some parts where I would say the biggest problem I have with that is simply that they kept doing it for like all of them, and
I wouldn't mind one suit being nanotech.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that.
It's just like one suit being nanotech. I'm fine with that, but like, holy shit, it is everywhere, because the absurdest part about it is that the CGI suits and character models is just. Yeah, it's sometimes just not. It's not cheaper, but it's we can adjust until the very late moment, and we don't have that much time, so it's easier to have things open that we can change them instead of for example, like the old Spider-Man movies have fitting costumes and not literally that's also the weirdest thing. If you look at the old Spider-Man suits, and they're amazing, and the first Spider-Man movies, you see how it's fabric. It's literally not. Mm-hmm. But then you look at Tom Holland, it's like vacuum sealed.
You know what I just remembered?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, so this is kind of going against my previous statement about the suits being characters. Technically, we have the Hulkbuster, which is a character of a suit, but if I remember correctly, the suit was a last-minute change because they didn't want to have the Hulk fighting Thanos in Infinity War, not until Endgame at least.
Yeah.
So they had to have a reason for Banner to be involved. That said, Banner could have been involved on the science side of things easily.
Yeah.
He was involved in the science side of things, and I would have been fine with keeping it just as that.
Can I say it's interesting how much we flip-flop from Naruto to One Piece to now?
Should we flip
Marvel.
again?
Shokugeki no. Actually, no. I think we're kind of on the same track of thought, because ever since Shokugeki no Soma, we're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the cool and neat. Mm-hmm. From a whole bunch of different series.
Yeah, but the thing is, just what I really hate is the fact that, especially the fact that they're doing a lot of nanotech helmets now, ruins a lot of stuff in the movies, because like
you don't get the hot suit up scenes.
Not only that,
with Cap putting his cowl on.
Oh yeah,
at the start of Captain America 1.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Cool.
That's great. Tony suiting up, Cap suiting up, everything great. But you know what is also ruined, and I can scientifically prove that. So, Spider-Man. No Way Home. Doc Ock pins Spider-Man against the fucking pillar, and in every other Spider-Man iteration, because it was a physical suit, he could just pull the mask off. The very classic reveal of pulling a mask off, a physical object, which is so utterly integral to fucking visual language, but no, it just vanishes. What the fuck?
Since we kind of talk,
I think the problem there, so symbolically, this is where I think the problem with doing that is, in that movie at that time, Peter was already unmasked by the world. It's a symbolic thing when Peter's mask gets pulled off.
Yeah, but it would just be pulled off for, you know... it would matter to the characters. Yeah.
It would kind of matter for the characters, but I think it would be different. It wouldn't be... I think people would have issue with a unmasking that happens in the traditional sense, which is I don't think it's why they went for that. I think it's happenstance, but I think it turned out to be in the more correct way that it should have been.
I mean,
for that exact moment, because that movie was also a transitional period of Peter being like, hold on, high-tech Peter, who is like Iron Spider or whatever type stuff, that's not Spider-Man. That's not who he's going to be. He needs to move away from that. So we are moving away from that. We are doing the little bits of things. He still has the technology for now. And that's why you see at the end of the movie the cloth mask.
Yeah. I do hope the next one, because they have probably more time to consider that they will use more practical stuff. Also, actually, in interesting news, the Punisher's confirmed to be in there. So maybe that's gonna be a lot more Spider-Man.
I feel like
this time.
Punisher has been everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be in a movie, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Wasn't Punisher in what do you call it? Wasn't he in Civil War in the beginning?
Nope.
No, wasn't he the guy that Cap fought in the beginning?
Nope.
Oh no, I was thinking of Ultron.
Nope.
Then who was the guy with the skull and crossbones suit?
I don't know. Someone else. It wasn't the Punisher.
Let me double check this.
That will be the first. Spider-Man will be the first time where the Punisher is on the big screen.
Since
Punisher is only Daredevil right
since
now.
We were talking about like that low budget movies are often better than high budget movies. Here's a high budget trilogy that was good. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
He was in Daredevil.
Which I still plan to sometime in the future will make that watch.
Yeah.
Wait, what movie?
She wants you to watch the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have to do that at some point.
At some
The
point.
extended versions.
He has those. So we can watch it.
Yeah.
Someday.
And we can all be Hobbit maxing with second breakfasts and smoke weed. Honestly, the Hobbits are just such a great decisions. It's just like they live in nice little houses in the ground, so they're temperate all the time. Wow, good infrastructure. They have multiple meals per day, and then they just smoke weed. It's like, damn, Hobbit life sounds good, and no one wants to invade you because you turned the invasions into Vietnam. No, seriously. In the lore, the Witch King of Angmar tried to invade the Shire, and then he just went out again and was like, no, I'm not going to do that again. No, we do not know what happened. We just know he doesn't want to deal with the hobbits. Which is so fucking funny. That's just good writing. It's just like, don't explain it.
On the other hand, with the mirror revealing a possible future for the hobbits in the trilogy, kind of implies that the Witch King of Angmar is just really bad. Like militarily, he's just shit.
Or he got weak knees because remember, who was it again? Glorfindel told him, no man can beat you, and he's like, are hobbits man? Fuck.
Do they count?
Keep in mind, okay. Oh god. Okay, this is so funny because so just so you know, Glorfindel was like the elf. He's like the thing Legolas would love to be. He's like the biggest badass that ever badassed. And the thing is, when he made a prophecy, he's correct. I mean, this time the prophecy was like literally just. I mean, by the way, I find it so funny because how's it called? Tolkien himself was like, I don't like stuff based on coincidence, and then he was just like, but you know what? For that one time, let's have a little coincidence as a treat. Because it was very funny, because literally it made the Witch King arrogant and paranoid at the same time. Because, like, against man, so, humans, or else he was like, yeah, sure, they can't beat me. Glorfindel told me. That was the prophecy. Everything else, he was very, very wary. Just, like...
That's one of the things where I'll say, like, Tolkien is a good writer.
Yeah.
Because he knows when not to let his personal preferences overrule what is good writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
and good writing is a very objective thing.
To a degree, but also like I mean,
it's
it's also just very funny because Glorfindel just lived head free in the just rent free in the head of the he lived head free in the rent of the Witch King of Ireland.
I mean, Glorfindel is so overpowered. He is not mentioned, I think, once in a Lord of the Ring trilogy, and he's still relevant in several parts.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
It's like, why didn't they do this? Because Glorfindel was standing on that bridge. Okay.
This is so fucking funny. Yeah, it's just funny because, he just lived rent-free in the Witch King of Angmar's head just all the time. It's just... God. Imagine doing that to someone. Just living rent-free in that. I don't know if I want that, but
I mean, the guy came back from paradise just to do some good stuff. So
yeah,
as you do.
God, Tolkien's letters are so fucking funny. Like, I remember how people are like, oh, but he disliked the Narnia books by C.S. Lewis. And the thing is, it's actually even funnier. He's like, he literally told C.S. Lewis, your books suck. Like, they're badly written, they're not even doing allegories. You literally just made Jesus a line, are you stupid? You're the best friend I ever had. You literally inspired me to write myself. My life would not be as good without you. You're like, holy shit, that's some whiplash.
The movie was decent.
It's still astonishing when you dig a bit deeper instead of just the movies or the source book, let's call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many things where people can technically argue about in Lord of the Rings, and to pretty much every point there is a literal letter of Tolkien addressing it.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah. Also, when I was a friend you love so much and offer who you detest, really testing your friendship. I mean, they were apparently just really good friends. It's just like, he was like, no, your writing sucks, fuck you.
You can be good friends with someone, but also professionally disagree with them.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? C.S. Lewis kept writing books, and you know what? He just doubled down on his cheesiness, if I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
honestly, a cheesy book can be a nice read.
Yeah.
I can enjoy that a lot.
I would generally say a lot of the later books are a lot better, like of the Narnia books, because they go a lot more into fantasy weirdness, like the more the fairy tale fantasy weirdness. It's like,
well, so this is where I think is the problem with one of the main problems with The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, the initial bit. There was not enough world building pre-existing for the book to be better.
Okay, do you know that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the second book?
I was faintly aware of that, but still,
There is a whole book before that.
Existing stuff. There's still not enough pre-existing stuff before that. That essentially, because C.S. Lewis is he's big on the world building and creating a environment. And I think that with how hard he was going in the stories, it makes sense that the first ones didn't quite land as well.
I get. I think the big. Okay, but like, Sarah, I like that part. That's also the thing about Tolkien. Like, why didn't the eagles just do that? First of all, they can do what they want. They're basically gods, but also
messengers of gods. They're not controlled by anyone.
But also, if they did that, there wouldn't be a story. So it's similar to how people are like, oh, but why does when people asked, how was he called again? He made the birds. The director, movie director. Hitchcock, yeah. Asked Hitchcock, why do people act like that? And Hitchcock's like, else there wouldn't be a story. It's like, it's. But like, just a brief overview. Like, I think the wardrobe, the witch, the wardrobe, and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is like a few things how that connects to the original book. Okay, in the first book, by the way, it's about two children, brother and daughter, who basically just get passed off with their uncle, I think. Because, their parents had to do something. I think they're going overseas or something, so they're like, stay with your uncle. And the uncle, I kid you not, this is how it starts. It's like, oh, I'm an alchemist and I'm a magician. I research old civilizations. And he found metal and documents from Atlantis. Atlantis is real in the Narnia universe. Just let that sink in. And he made rings to jump between worlds. So they do that and they land in it's a forest strip with lakes, and every lake is a portal to another world. And one they jump in, and they look through a few, and they jump into one where the world is dead, and this is where the Ice Queen comes from, by the way. She's like the last survivor of her world. I don't know what she did, but she was I think she was responsible, but she kind of felt a bit bad about it, but she's also just kind of an arrogant bitch. And basically, they bring her back to London, and she fucking does a whole bullshit menace in London, and gets stopped by, with the help of a butcher, who gets dragged back with them into the whole, into the world in between, which is from where they flee into basically Narnia. So, by the way, this is why he kind of hated it, because Aslan is Jesus. The lion is Jesus, literally. It's not a metaphor. He is Jesus. Period. Also, grab a streetlight as a club, and that's world building, baby. That happens. That happens.
Honestly, I can see the lion being Jesus as a funny joke. Like, Lewis wrote that and was like, this is the funny joke for me.
But like maybe, and also this is why there is a street light in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because it falls on the ground and sprouts into a street light, because Aslan is currently singing a song that builds the world, and also the witch coming into the world is basically introducing original sin. Basically darkness. And when he's done, Aslan's like, whoa, you interrupted me. Someone has
Isn't that basically the plot of Lord of the Rings? Or at least of the Lord of the Rings universe?
To a degree, but it's different. I mean, basically...
how's the person called that directs an orchestra? In English?
Conductor.
Yeah. The origin story, why everything in the end has problems in the world of Middle-earth, is the god of all gods made more gods to make them sing. He directed them. And one of those fuckers was like, I will sing wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
That's the whole origin story.
Yeah, it's a bit different though there, but yeah.
It's close enough.
Aslan to those kids, I literally didn't even get to make the world before you brought an evil woman in here. Why did you do this? Yeah, and then he's just like, can someone of you at least watch over this world? Now I have stuff to do. And then the butcher's like, I guess if you could bring my woman, if you bring my wife here, and he's like, done. And he's like, I think at that point it's like, imagine you're just this woman just popping up in the hole, like what? Just instantly. And then your husband is like, hey, we're gonna be literally the rulers of this world.
We're here now. We're in charge.
Except for that one crazy woman.
Insane career ascension, by the way. And yeah, then they go back, and then they're like, oh yeah, we should probably get rid of those rings. So they bury them beneath a tree in the garden. And that tree is the tree from which the wardrobe in the second book was made of. Yep. That's why the wardrobe connects to Narnia. Because it was made from the rings buried beneath it. And I think it was also part of Narnia. It was also brought over from Narnia.
How?
I think they got a nut.
But
they
how?
Took a nut.
If the rings are gone, how could it...
Oh no, they jumped back with the rings and the nut and then buried them, and then the tree grew up to be magical, and so the wardrobe made from the ring was a portal to Narnia.
But how did they again get back?
With the rings.
They buried them.
Oh no, they buried them back in London. They jumped back first and then buried them.
The rings magic transferred to the tree.
Yeah, but if they don't
Not fully transferred.
But if they don't have the rings anymore because they buried them under the nut, how did they...
They took a nut in Narnia, the children, then jumped back with the rings, then buried the nut and the rings in the garden in London.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
And then, that's the first book. Then you have the second book. Then there's a third book about fleeing from the Ottomans. Fantasy Ottomans, but it's basically the Ottomans. Like, quite literally.
As you do.
As you do. Like, it's literally just, there's a talking horse, and basically, Slave Boy is, and they use the rings to return to the world and then bury them. No worries, Sarah. The delay is also happening in Agonia's head a bit.
I had a misconception, that's all.
Yeah, and then he just basically rides over to Narnia, and it's like, oh, hey, you're the Lost Prince. Yeah, during a border raid, I think he was abducted, and so they're just like, whoa, holy shit, you came back on your own. So, yeah. That's the third book, and it has nothing to do with what happens afterwards. Seriously, I do not know what, like, I think then the fourth is, the Prince Caspian, it's probably the most political one. Like, this is, by the way, why they always this is why they always do movies of the second, fourth, and sixth book. Because all those books can be Lord of the Ringified. They can be classic fantasy movies with, armies battling. The first, third, fifth, and seventh book, they're more weird adventure books, and no one wants to commit to that. Like, oh no, a weird book about a silver throne in the depths of because there's an Underdark in Narnia. That's where the Underdark, by the way, comes from. It's Narnia. There's just a whole society underground, and ruled by, I think, the descendant of the White Witch.
Do they have shrooms?
They have shrooms, yes.
The Underdark is very shroomy, I think.
Yeah, and also when she's defeated, the inhabitants of the Underdark actually descend deeper again because they were leaving even further down.
Yes. That's basically, how's it called? The Forgotten Realms.
It is. I mean, guess where that came from. And then you have another book where they... Okay, actually, interestingly, I think in the seventh book or so, Prince Caspian actually returns, more adult now, and he's actually on they have a boat trip I don't know how it is again, because, like, I think, okay, I have to say one thing, and I can totally understand why Tolkien might have just hated a little bit on Lewis, because, like, first book, they have rings made from Atlantis. Okay. Second book, it's a magic wardrobe. Okay. Third book, he was already an inhabitant of Narnia. Fourth book, Aslan, I guess.
Jesus did it.
No, seriously, I think, what was it again? They just are at the fucking station and just get whisked away or something. But didn't they die?
Who knows?
Anyway, the thing is, they get just whisked away, and then I think in 7th book, or the one where they're on the ship, it's like, it's just 2 children, and someone's like, hey, my dad told me about Narnia, and then maybe if we pray to Aslan, they sent us to Narnia, and then he just does it. So he literally just say, Aslan, please bring us to Narnia, and it's like, bada bing, bada boom, you're here now, bitches. On a boat trip to the end of the world, enjoy. Yeah, right, the last book is they all get hit by a train. I'm not kidding, that's literally what
pretty much every popular thing ever at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually so fucking funny, because, the whole getting isekai by getting hit by, vehicle of transportation. Whoa, Narnia. Truck-kun is a Narnia ripoff.
Yeah, the whole train thing is basically Harry Potter.
No, they get hit by the train runs over them.
That's better, good.
Yeah, it kills.
It's better than the truck.
They basically die, but the moment they get hit, the Aslan saves them, and, like, yeah. Honestly, the book where they travel to the end of the world is really good, because it's like, with every island they meet on the sea, it just gets weirder. It's really good. It's like Gulliver's Travels, but just weirder, and that's really cool.
And that's from the guy that was highly criticized by Tolkien, who has a bit of his own problems indirectly, but overall made good stories.
Yeah, that is one of those books where I'm like, I'd say Lewis got a lot more interesting later on, as if he tried to actually just be like, no, I can do original stuff. And then the last thing is just Exodus. Like,
but now we know that we should hate the guy because he's probably responsible for the isekai trash we get today.
Okay, do we really want to pin Truck-kun on C.S. Lewis?
I don't know. But
I mean,
it would be funny.
It would be very funny. It would genuinely be really funny if we did that. And it wouldn't be that...
We would need to research it. Like, was that book popular in the Asian sphere before the big isekai wave?
That's a good question, actually.
Especially the trope.
Yeah.
Also, since we talked about authors that got criticized and stuff, there's also like a piece of media where the author died midway through and his friend finished the work.
Which one?
Umineko no Nako Koroni.
Yeah, okay, it's Umineko. I was like, is it? It's where we borrowed this wonderful background from.
Yes. It's a very fun, unorthodox mystery.
Oh yeah, I can already recommend it. Especially when you're trans, it's gonna change your life.
Why?
Even a lot of trans girls just read Umineko.
Okay, that's fair.
There's even older isekai media, although with less vehicles hit the protects. Yes, fair point.
Yes.
Narnia was really one of the original isekais, if we're honest.
More like it had the trope of vehicle stuff.
Yeah.
Before that, there was Inuyasha and shit.
I don't think Inuyasha was before Narnia.
Not?
No.
But it was like still a very like more old school
A Yankee in King Arthur's court comes to mind.
isekai anime.
Yeah, that was one of those. They are all older ones, like yeah.
But like with Umineko, you have, because if you know a bit about mysteries and their rules, you don't need to. You can still enjoy Umineko without that. There are literal personifications of different interpretations of mystery rule sets. with the racism cut out, obviously. Because Old Mystery was very racist. That's why they had rules. Like, very specific rules. Like, nowadays, it's like it can't be the gardener, I think it's called. But originally it was the Indian can't be the culprit.
Yeah.
They often were the gardeners because colonialism and stuff. It was basically like, because society was racist and was like, yeah, of course, it was the one person that we specifically exclude. There was a whole mystery rule about how they can't be it.
Don't be racist, it makes for bad writing. By the way, read the original stuff, like with the original backgrounds and original sprites.
Which
everything
circles
else
back to low budget, by the way.
Yes, but also the other versions, the other sprites, literally miss sprites or change them and change the meaning of the scene. By the way, I just looked it up. So we had 1955 was The Magician's Nephew. 1950 was The Lion. It's like oh wait, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was the first book. Then Prince Caspian. What?
Huh.
Why the fuck did you?
Who knows?
No, the order you should read them in is The Magician's Nephew, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. That's how they're organized. But The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was the first?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Because one of them, I forget the one it's called. It gives off the vibes of a prequel,
Yeah, it's weird
like
because
an origin story.
yeah, it's so weird. He basically wrote first The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, then Prince Caspian, then The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which makes sense. They kind of are all connected. Then The Silver Chair, then The Horse and His Boy, then The Magician's Nephew, and then The Last Battle. You know what? That actually makes sense because when you read them in order, you think like, oh, The Magician's Nephew should be the first one, and you're like, oh, so they had rings and all that, and then during The Last Battle, they're like, oh, we need to get they want to go to help in Narnia, and they are. Like, they didn't plan on getting to Narnia by getting hit by a train. They actually dug up the rings again. So you're like, oh, hey, they're bringing back the rings. They're not useful, and there's also like the world ends, but worlds
Who's
in
the
Narnia.
lord of these rings, by the way?
Also,
Was that an attempted joke, or was it also a question of who's the Lord of the Rings?
It's
Yes.
Okay.
Also-
the Lord of the Rings is Sauron because he's a cuck.
Yeah. Oh,
you just called
you know
Sauron
the
a
lord,
cuck.
but all
What is he if-
Everyone else.
Like, you can, I think, accurately describe Sauron as a cuck.
It's true. It's just fucking true. Yes, I know. I hate that it's true. Oh my god. What I want to say. I think that you know what? I do have to say I know why the Narnia books end like they end, but also it's dumb. The spoiler, the worlds in Narnia are ogres. They have layers.
Okay, that's funny.
Okay, why the fuck did this was the most obvious joke. Why
Yeah, but it's still funny if it's true.
oh.
By the way, I need to go to sleep now.
That's fair.
It is late, and
Yeah, you know what? It's 6 a.m. here. We should definitely sleep. So, you know what, everyone? Thanks for indulging in this insane rant that we had. Hope you all had fun. Again, I don't know what we're gonna do on Sunday. I still have to find something.
Yep. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Glad you liked it. I guess. Yeah. See you all around. Maybe I
Night.
find something. Bye.